find out what happened, and it's unbelievable. I've been a Verizon customer for decades, Maria. And what happened was Verizon decided to violate the Constitution. I'm a sitting United States Senator. But because I'm a Republican, I presume, they're more than willing to cooperate with Joe Biden and Jack Smith in the midst of an unconstitutional search of our records. AT&T blocked it. They wouldn't do it because they knew it was against the Constitution. Verizon decided to move right ahead with it. Their chief executive officer, their chief legal officer have dodged every question. Even the chief legal officer even decided to skip her hearing on this topic. So we need to put both of them under oath and ask them some tough questions. You think about it. Verizon was looking at a $20 billion acquisition of Frontier. That was in the pipeline. Did they feel like they had to engender some sort of favor with the Biden DOJ so they'd get that approved, and therefore our constitutional rights as senators, they'll just violate them? I'd like to know the answer to that. You know, was Verizon's chief legal officer, and you'll get this, Maria, Verizon hires her from the staff of one of the most partisan, viciously partisan Democrats to ever serve here, Henry Waxman from California. Did she stop being an operative, or was she still working for the Democrat administration as she handed over our records? I'd like to get to the bottom of why Verizon would violate the constitutional rights of multiple senators. Is it because we're Republican? Because only Republicans had their constitutional rights violated here. We need to get to the bottom of it. And corporate America has got to realize that they're going to be held to account when they engage in this sort of partisan political activity at the expense of their customers' rights.
Well, 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 how is it going out there, my fellow world patriots? It is indeed Tuesday, August already, boys, August 4th, 2026. Time is a-flying, and I think people, certainly not on our side, but I think the Democrats on the other side kind of poo-poo in general the gravity of the scenario that we dealt with in the last many, many years. This one in particular was Jack Smith, and the fact that Verizon never told the senators after the fact as well. I guess that part's illegal, but this stuff is just, you know, every part of what they did is just, I'm just super surprised that there's not way more people up in arms about it, because apparently we have half of the country just doesn't care about or respect the office of the presidency for what they did. But before I keep going on any more rambling rants here, let's bring in the boys here. And we got Mr. Ghost, Mr. Doc Mike, and Mr. Armando. And I will pull in Mr. Ghost first. Sir, how is it going? How's the week? How's everything?
It's going. It's been a weird week, but it's personal, so that stays off the agenda. And just good to be here as always. And yeah, let's talk about some Democrats, aka what they really are, an operational arm for a foreign and domestic undermining operation against this country. So let's call a spade a spade. Let's not joke around with this anymore. Other than that, I'm a happy guy.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, it's bad. I mean, what they did was just absolutely horrendous. And they trampled on so many people's rights. It's not even funny. I mean, you know, little old me podcaster, I was a little pinky nail on that, you know. Oh, they kicked me off of line, but like people, I mean, had their bank accounts removed, debanked. Like, it was a horrendous situation we dealt with, COVID, and then all of these stupid investigations as well. But you guys just heard Mr. Doc Mike there.
People reach out to me about being debanked. I'm sorry. Go ahead, guys. But I had people reach out to me about being debanked, and that was a WTF moment. Anyway,
right?
Sorry.
That's huge. Yeah, I mean, it's monstrous, the fact that they would do this. It's friggin' communism, essentially, 101. But we did hear Mr. Doc Mike there. How is it going, Mr. Mike? Obviously, everybody's been praying and pulling for Miss Renee there, and your lovely wife, Renee. And hope everything's working out well. But how's it going with you, sir, on this fine Tuesday in August already? I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but time is like absolutely flying for me.
Yeah, you know, thank you, and hi to the audience and to the family audience out there, and you know, it's great to be here. It's been a good week, good as can be. You taking care of Renee. I put in a retirement packet, then put it in all the way, but filled everything out, getting all that ready. Just want to make sure everything's taken care of before her heart transplant, so I can be with her 24/7. after the heart transplant. Hopefully before, just get the retirement done early with. Yeah, and it's so it's been good. Just taking care of Renee. She's had a hard couple days. She's her energy's been gone for probably 2 days. Just real fatigued. Even with the heat, we have it down to about 65, 67 degrees for cardiac purposes. But today she had a little more energy and she's feeling a little bit better today. So that's it's good. It's hopeful. And yeah, it's and thank you to everyone out there for supporting Renee and her GoFundMe with donations, sharing her page and the prayers. Absolutely grateful. Definitely looking forward to a bright future, towards that heart transplant, and just absolutely amazed with everyone out there. And as I get ready closer to retirement, I get a lot more free time to speak and touch on topics that I can talk about without having any restrictions. And in fact, I spoke with my commanding officer, and I have a lot more freedom now to speak on our platform here. So that's a pretty cool thing. Yeah. And so with just a little bit real quick here, with Verizon, if some people don't know, under the National Defense Authorization Act, and through when I worked at the NSA, with a friend there on a project, I learned that Verizon is under contract, and you could say lock and key, through the NSA and under the NDAA. And so they hold a lot of power and leverage there. And that's when I was there working with my buddy, and that was under General Nakasone when he was in charge. So I was very privileged and privy to understand how the telecommunications and definitely cybersecurity world worked out there, and still works. So that's a little tidbit there.
Very interesting stuff. And I got a question later for you.
Yeah.
For you on that one. But let's bring in Mr. Armando, and let me pull him up on the. Let me make sure his beautiful face is showing and glowing on the screen. Let me get him up over here.
Aww.
He's so sexy. Although I don't see a picture coming through on there, brother.
You don't?
I don't. Maybe
right.
turn it off and turn it back on.
Yeah. Let me do that.
That might
Stand
work.
by.
You never know. But that black box in the top right corner is representative of Mr. Armando.
The black box, yes.
The black box.
Where's that switchy? Oh,
let's see. Armando. Yeah, it says it's on.
God. Hold on.
Please hold. Let me see what the old chat.
I think the camera's tired of him right now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there we go.
Boom.
There you are.
Yeah,
up,
I had to turn the light on in the freedom bunker.
Need to get some light. So how's it going, brother? How's this week? We got a little bit of information on Cuba, which we'll get to in a little bit, and I don't know if that's true or not, but what's up with you, my man?
No, doing good, man. I'm blessed to be here with my brothers all together. Wonderful people here in the chat. Gave them a nice big old hugs to the mods. They're amazing out there. Nothing, man. Just busy as all get out, just vertical and above the grass. That's basically what I got. That's a Georgia thing, in case you didn't know.
Vertical and above the grass means good. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Oh man, there's so many questions I could ask too about Mike there with Nakasone. But actually, and I don't know if this is even just an NSA question or just a general internet hack issue, because you guys remember there was that Solar Winds hack in, what was it, 2019, I want to say, something like that. But at the time, they were saying it was like one of the biggest hacks like ever. And I don't know if that they ever got any, did they ever figure out what the hell went on? Did they ever solve that stuff? Like, I don't know that it ever came to any conclusion on that.
Yeah,
So,
they found out who the perpetrators were. That's gonna lie more in the classified area.
mhm.
But yeah, they're they found out who they were, and it was, let's just say it was a foreign operation.
So they did, okay, they did get that one squeaked out, because that's all I had heard of it. It was that, like, oh my God, it's like this huge, huge, horrible, hack, and then we don't know who did anything
Well, I
about
want
it.
to find
Oh
out
God.
what happened.
Sorry there. The senator said he wanted
Yeah.
to start talking again there. But yeah, so I mean, the last I had heard of it is essentially, oh, we have this worst hack. It's the worst thing since sliced bread and whatever. But they said it got into like everything. So do you think that they
Yeah,
were able to kind of fix the damage or kick people back out of that or whatever it was?
they're able to hold down and mitigate. Yeah, so their mitigation was definitely implemented there. Especially with the Government Accountability Office and OPM and everybody else that's had to respond to that. Including the NSA. Obviously, being the NSA. Being the top watchdog of cybersecurity, and the CSS, which is the Central Security Service. Um, yeah, so they got into a lot of information, a lot of records. They breached a lot of different areas, and yeah, as you go down there, it's
Russian, of course.
yeah. So when I said foreign, there you go, it's right there. And yeah, so solar winds, yeah, and solar winds is only, just think of it, just one hack of many, one hack of thousands. And so there's hacking, hacking on the force multiplier scale of what solar winds has done is a continuance and daily, if not hourly, and you could say, yeah, let's just say hourly and daily thing.
Wow.
People are always trying to get in. It's always happening. There's always someone trying to penetrate, through different servers, through different ways. It's just ongoing thing through different backdoors or different root systems. However, it's going to be done through remote accesses. Um, they do a lot of they'll find people out through LinkedIn, see where they work, pull up their where when companies go out to hire people, and they do like a background information report and see if they have any criminal arrest records or anything like that. Sometimes it'll actually pull up where they live, where they work. It'll pull up their current location, their current phone number, and then what they'll do is they'll hack into it'll pull up their emails, and they'll hack into their personal emails. And some of these people will actually, it's not everybody, but some knuckleheads sometimes will use their personal emails on government computers, and and that's kind of a back door to get into the systems there. I'm not saying that's the entire way, but that there's plenty of different ways. And so when you have people that are using your personal your PII on a government computer, these hackers or these foreign cybersecurity operators are very savvy at what they do. They're very, very good. And so they'll look for anyone who's like just entry level, came in, up to middle management, up to senior management, and they will go through all those records just to try to get in, try to squeal into the system. Whether that's through a Gmail, through Yahoo, through Facebook, or whatever it may be. There's 100 different ways that you could hack into into a domain. And just for reference, like with my SOCOM emails, we have our cybersecurity team is always, I always get these. They're so ridiculous, but I know they're doing their job. they'll send out these test emails to see if you'll open them. And it looks like it's coming. It's like, oh, Colonel so-and-so, I need you to turn in your form so-and-so. And, please look at the PDF attached. And it has the picture of the Colonel, and it's the Colonel's email. But it's like when you put the little down tab, there's like one variable off. So if you're not paying attention, and so that's how they're pen testing you when you open up that email, and then when you click on it, the cybersecurity team for the military, when you open up the email, a little page will pop up and say, hey, just as a reminder, don't open these emails. This is a test, as a daily not a daily reminder, but as a reminder, to watch, who emails are coming from.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's it does keep you on your feet. I definitely give kudos to the guys that are doing it, because it does remind me, and it does remind others, that you got to stay on your toes, even if you're using a government computer, or logging into your government emails. That it does happen more than people think. That you have spear phishing, phishing, and other types of spear phishing, directly at you. So it's very common. And
Cool.
I've worked on when I was over there under Nakasone. We are working under quite a few different projects that led into an operation to where there was medical companies that got hacked into, and millions of people, millions of Americans, information had got hacked. And one of the medical companies that was compromised was Epic. And so I had to reach out to people in San Diego, California, and speak with their cybersecurity professionals, letting them know, like, hey, your all of your enterprise system, has been hacked, and is vulnerable, to the people that hacked it. And you could probably look it up online. It's probably in there in the historical records, on Google there. But Epic for medical care. So it was the hospitals, it was medical care for patients, prescriptions, personal, PII, personal information, social security, medical ID card numbers, phone number, addresses. That was a big deal too. And then there was another company, another medical company, aside from Epic. Then Stryker, the medical group, got hit too, and that was done. Stryker was done from China. China had penetrated that one at that time. So yeah, it's a very consistent, ongoing, cyber world.
Wow. I mean, the way I was looking at it. Oh, go ahead, Ghost.
I was going to say, why does Russia still have to act like a bunch of commie douchebags?
Well, that was 21.
Look close. Yeah, look closely at the situation. And they're doing this shit. It's not helping them in any way. I mean, what are they getting away with ultimately? But this constant probing, I mean, this douchebaggery is why aliens won't talk to us. I'll just leave it at that.
That's a good one. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
oh, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, with when you have other governments, militaries foreign governments, militaries hacking you, it's the more information they obtain and they get, they build databases on all that information, and so they know who to target, who works where, who does what. So they build dossiers on certain people when they penetrate different networks, different different programs in the networks. So it's definitely a huge thing. It's not like just going in and saving everything. It's kind of, think of it as human intelligence. You go out and you start building a case on somebody, you start getting information and doing the whole human intelligence layout. And it's very similar to what they do in the cybersecurity world. And I have a very good friend who handles that as a director level. Deputy director level, and it's very formidable, and they're very good at it. And so, say if they're going after someone very high rank, say like a lieutenant general, or a major general, they'll build a dossier on these people, and that's why they'll try to get as much information as they can, through hacking into wherever they can, and it doesn't have to be a military database. It could be
anything.
It could be a government accountability office. It could be even small things through AMC, or it could be your private Gmail.
Problem is leverage. When their operatives here have leverage on somebody that's ironclad, there's another problem.
Well, yeah,
and on and on and on.
Yeah, and here's a funny thing too: is if you have an iPhone, you have your iPhone notes. So your iPhone notes, if someone hacks into your phone in your iPhone, they can go in and take all of everything that you have on your notes, and you wouldn't even know it. And so, and some spies actually, part of the tradecraft is through notes. Let's just say, they share a cell phone number, and on the notes section of I'll call it that little notepad. On the notepad, in the draft section, they'll write out a message, and they'll give the password or key code to the other person that they're trying to convey a message, kind of like a dead drop. And it'll be, just think of it as electronic dead drop, and so that way they can communicate back and forth to each other without actually sending emails. Kind of a similar way as sharing an email in the spy world is
like a draft, right?
You create a draft. You create a draft message in Gmail, Yahoo, whatever it is, and you share that email with whoever you're sharing it with. And all you do is type the message in a draft and let the other person know it's in the draft, and then they write back and forth.
Wow. Well, maybe then you can like train AIs to look for email accounts of people logging in and messing with drafts and never sending messages. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the capabilities of that would be. You know what I mean? If they could do that.
Here's a warning for people. Something I saw earlier today. I'm sure a lot of people have already seen it, but in case for those who haven't, they're now, I guess, through some AI tools, probably, because it's a difficult thing to do from what I understand, but they're encoding files, dangerous files, into regular old videos like YouTube. Yeah. And I wanted to tell you guys about that earlier, but I just read about that today. So I'm going to be honest here. I can foresee some crazy shit happening. People at work accessing what they think is secure, and YouTube doesn't have defenses for it, or whatever video, wherever you're watching it. I would be careful watching videos on websites that are just somebody's website.
Yeah.
Just in case. Until this pans out and we see what our response is to it and how it's tacked down. But yeah, that something like that, if somebody cracked that, Russia, China, wherever, Middle East, who knows? But yeah, Russia and China would be the obvious. Yeah, that could wreak havoc before we even knew how to respond to it. So getting the word out is good.
Yeah, and a good example of that is just recently there was a White House staffer who was had information for the president's daily brief, and his information was accessed and it was accessed by a foreign, country, foreign people, and he didn't know it at the time, but that staffer, and it's more of the younger generation. They don't have the skills, the skill
Quick to
sets,
click.
tradecraft, that more of the
Yeah.
generation of our age that we've accrued over the years, and they really need to be taught all of the traditional skills and tradecraft, that we've been taught over the years.
Digital
And
boot camp is what they need.
yeah, no, absolutely
Digital boot
agree.
camp. 6
Yeah.
weeks of heavy, 4 weeks, whatever, of heavy intensive training to say, look, everything you do on this internet lives somewhere. Think
Yes.
about it. Do the math,
And I'm over
and
to
have
Link
it drilled into their
University.
heads. Interns. Mike's absolutely right. You get interns in there who have grown up, with using their thumbs and forefingers more than they've used their brains in reality, and they're getting these jobs. Oh, I got my internship in the West Wing. Yeah, that is a big security hole. That's a deep well right there in one individual. It's not an exaggeration.
Think about also as a junior analyst, right, that gets a position in sensitive agencies, maybe even Pentagon, DOD, whatever you want. Okay.
Hopefully, they have hacking skills.
No, their job is to do what? Go to websites trying to dig for information, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't see anything wrong, right? Anything suspicious. So you start putting personal information out there because you just want to dig deeper, right? Something that's legit. Well, guess what happens? The adversary just now got who you are, where you are, and what you do, and who you work for. And guess what? You're now a target, and you get smoked.
Yeah.
And the younger you are,
the dumber you
easier
are.
target you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not dumb in the sense of, you're a moron.
No, but you have a
IQ-wise,
phone.
You're naive to the realities of what you're touching every day. And unfortunately, and I'm not saying this to insult anyone in the world, but the majority of people in the public are not mindful of this, or you'd be off all social media today.
Well, and the other thing too is in the military now is we all know, in service, is that we can support the president, we can support people going into office, but we don't have a say so as much as sharing opinions about who's right or who's wrong. And I've seen quite a few times where you have your junior analyst, or you have somebody who's brand new who comes in, and it turns out this person is a hardcore far left Democrat, and they hit it for a couple weeks, and they're in the office, and then they start talking, getting to know you, and they start sharing their ideology, what they think is right, and which is a big no. And that's a big operational security risk, because you can't have that in the intelligence community. You can't have that in the military, cybersecurity world. You just can't have that at all, because it creates conflict. It's not just conflict of interest. It creates conflict, but it also, just like Armando and Ghost are saying, it lets the adversary come in and target those people, and they can target them online, but then that also gives them, like, okay, this guy's a far left Democrat, and he's anti Charlie, or he's anti Mr. President Trump, and they will go out and go fishing for him, and they will find out, they'll track down where he goes to the gym, where he works out, where he goes to eat, just to get all this information on him, and then send they'll send out a female, say he's single, they'll send out a female to kind of like we call it a honeypot,
The
and they'll
honeypot.
send out
Yeah.
they'll send out a female to entice them. Very very good looking, female. They've
Never
already
lick the honeypot.
yeah
Sorry.
they've already they know what kind of girls that he likes or she likes men, and, vice versa. And so they will they will find one of their people that looks just like that, and whether it's on Tinder or Facebook, those dating groups, or even in person at a cafe, they'll build a rapport over time, or even at a bar.
They'll be
And
off on a plane in Newark. They'll be getting off a plane in Newark tomorrow morning for that.
yeah, and so and then and that's that person is obviously a intelligence officer, spying, but that's the honeypot trap where they get that official or that intel officer or cybersecurity officer, and so this guy, this soldier or sailor, airman, coast guardsman, thinks he's dating this 23, 25-year old hot licking female or hot licking guy for a female, for whatever whoever they're looking for to date, right? And they think they're just a normal person, and in reality is that person is actually a spy trying to get as much intelligence and information out of the person that they know who they are and who they work for and exactly what they do. And unfortunately, these people that are getting that people fall for the honeypot, or get trapped in it, they won't know it for quite a long time, or unless somebody catches it right away and is able to put a stop to it. I've seen it countless times. Me and my guys at the team have been in a couple bars, and Ivan's walked in, and and we look over to our right,
I've
we
heard
see
that.
we see him
Wow.
sitting there drinking a beer. He's talking, and we're like, hold on a second, why is he here? And it's like we cut the chit chat, and we pay our tab, and we're like, hey, we know who you are, and we report it to the security manager and let him know, and let the brass know. And it's so it's all over the place. It could
Oh,
happen
you
in
guys around too? Shit.
yeah,
You want
it
to
happens all over.
you want a
Right.
classic example, okay, of when she got started, like, green behind the ears and just got started and climbed all the way to the top layer of DIA? Anna Montes,
Yes,
Cuban
absolutely.
intelligence. Yeah.
Yes.
And then you got
Well-
and then you got the other one, Rojas, right?
Yep.
I mean, I'm telling you, these people, they operate old school, like real old school. And the
Yeah.
less the comms and the less the electronics, the more effective they are, because nobody thinks that way no more. They live in an
Yeah,
analog
and-
world.
And they can pass
Here's-
polygraphs. They can pass
Oh,
voice
yeah.
analyzed, I can't say it here.
Analyzers.
Yeah, voice analyzer test, polygraph test. They can pass all those, and still, these are deep vetted spies that are,
Very well
that-
trained.
very well
They're
trained
skilled.
and working. They're working in DOJ, they're working in DIA, CIA. And these people have been in there working for 15 plus years.
What they traditionally call the mole.
Yes.
Correct.
Well, we got basically a big case. Natalie Winters right here is reported on this 8 hours ago, and I sent this to the group earlier.
Can I say one thing before you
Absolutely,
begin?
absolutely.
Right now, when you take what we've been talking about and you add it to the wide open, still in a way wide open internet, you're looking at, before we enter this next age of artificial intelligence and the burst of the bubble of artificial intelligence, and then carrying on from there, you're looking at, again, take history and condense all those time periods, condense the Cold War down to 3 years instead of 40. We're looking at a nuclear weapon right now that we don't know how to defuse completely. And when you add the internet to those who've been raised on nothing but. It's a real dangerous combination. It's a bad mix of chemicals right now. And that's where things need to get on top of other things. And again, we look at, and let me just bring it out a little longer. We look at the dipshits in Congress that are holding up and fucking this country left and right. Excuse my language, but I'm going to go there. I don't care. Hey, look at Jasmine Crock of shit and all these others, and there's people on the left and right. There's mostly what we call the left. Again, it's, I'm going to say it again, and one day it'll tickle your brains when it all comes out. The foreign operational arm here domestically, AKA the Democrat Party, that's dead and gone. That is gone. Because the subtle manipulation, even in the background on those people who are, if you are of a liberal mindset, you're of a psychological profile that is so easy to manipulate. And foreign adversaries, as long as they're in that posture, are taking advantage of every little thing, even how you move
100%.
every day.
Yeah.
I'll leave it there.
You know,
you have old day Soviet guys, generals, right? Leaders that worked under KGB back then, not even FSB back then, that actually speak about this on video out there on YouTube. And they tell you they prefer to co-op a liberal-minded person because they're much easier to brainwash and to control and flip them to work for you.
Because they're already in a state of brainwashing. It's been erratic and at every angle, and they've bought into it. It's not a matter of stupidity, because some very intelligent people, let's say potential intelligent people who've got higher IQs, but they fall into this emotional cesspool when it comes to the realities of what's going on this planet. And when you know the realities, the bigger picture always comes into mind. The bigger the picture gets, the more harsh the remedies. But you accept it because that's the reality. Because anything less, unfortunately, in this stupid game we're playing, the adversary gets a leg up on you. You can't have that.
Yeah. And you can kind of think of it this way too, is, you have the investigative journalist, James O'Keefe, who does, wondrous jobs at what, he's very good at what he does, and his staff's very good at what they do. I'm not giving them kudos or anything. I'm just saying they're good at the operation they do, right? Now, and there's the harsh critical points at this is where, you say you have your adversary that's, doing the same thing, doing the whole going on a date, meeting, setting people up. I know myself, Ghost, and Armando. We've known people that have been in the game and have lost their lives because of people that were compromised, that were supposed to be the leadership, and because the leadership fell into that trap. Certain people running certain operations in certain locations were compromised where they were, and unfortunately, bad things happened. And that's the bad side of what can happen.
What's sacrificed, and people have no idea.
Absolutely,
no idea. And I mean, right now, there's a friend to the three of us. I'm not going to say the name, but 35-year veteran of agency. You cannot find a better soul than this man. Again, I've always said, good people like Steele and others, good people in a bad system sometimes, or bad upper tiers with agendas, cross-wired. And what these people give This man who is on his deathbed right now, and I ask people in this family to just pray for that man that I'm talking about. For the last 20 plus years, he's had to drink protein drinks and can't even eat Campbell's soup, cream of mushroom, as tiny as those little bits that they want to call mushroom. I think it's one mushroom in one giant can minced up. He couldn't even put that to his throat because being down in a certain country in South America, they were blown, put into a sewer grate that had no exit, no easy exit when you're barehanded and in a suit. And then they poured caustic soda on them just to burn their skin and irritate them. He was the one who looked up with his mouth open and it went down his throat.
Ugh.
His esophagus was never the same, was almost beyond repair at the time.
Jeez.
And nobody hears about this stuff. They try to portray it in movies. Yeah, Jason Statham or people like that do a great job kicking each other's ass and getting all the guys that come after him. That's not reality. Reality is it's very cold, harsh, and dirty at times. And then the price that people pay that the public has no idea about. And I'm not talking about the upper tiers. Bunch of wankers in suits from an Ivy League college. They have no fucking clue what these people go through. They see it, hear it, some feel it, and walk away. Others do their job because at that level, the degrees of coldness have to be in place to a certain degree. But at the same time, the degrees of a lack of humanity don't. I'm saying this for everything, across the board, everyone, no matter what you're in, civilian or otherwise, structures. We lose sight of anything that's not in their sights or anyone's individual sights. And again, the human ego, the human ego, the human ego. It's always in the way. Nobody's going to hear about these things for a number of reasons. Because people are going to want to know the background, why. But I'm giving you just an example to give you an example of the price people pay.
Yeah,
I'll just stop there.
Can be horrible.
And I just want to say that my father worked at the sheriff's department for 38 plus years. And, I lost my dad in 2023 and just recently, they were able to, to find evidence and correlate it to a person of interest, to his murder. And that was from my dad working on very high end, it's called major crimes within the sheriff's department. And, and very undercover, very high end undercover operations. And my own father passed away from the work he was doing just at the sheriff's department. And, so it's not just military or FBI or CIA. It's even down to your local sheriff's department, within their intelligence bureau, their special enforcement bureau, major crimes, I lost my own father to, someone, killing my own dad for the work that he was working an investigation on. So, it's a big thing to make sure that you're doing everything the correct way. And, the loss is big.
People can lose their lives from this, and like was saying, like sounds like tortured, and that I'm sure it does happen if people get blown. We even had that situation in. We were covering it during the drops. They were mentioning something because of Hillary Clinton's server that some agents in China, I believe, were killed as a result of that. I think that was like 2018, 2019 timeframe. But yeah, I mean, somebody says the wrong thing and you think that your cover is good and you're not, and you're going to get walked right into a nice fat trap. And this thing that I've had teed up here for a little bit, I think this goes a little bit more in a different direction, but I'm guessing it spreads out into more of what you guys are talking about here. So Natalie Winters is reporting 8 hours ago, top American generals formed a secret back channel with CCP military intelligence front that instructed them, oh, well, we wish you would advocate positions favorable to China. And then some of them ended up on China's payroll. Peter Pace, former Joint Chiefs chairman. Bill Owens, former Joint Chiefs vice chairman. John Abizade, George Casey, Ray Ordinero, Jonathan Greenert. So former Army chief, Navy chiefs, Air Force chiefs, former Pacific Command chiefs, like heavy stuff. And then former U.S. Forces Korea commander, Northcom, Southcom. It sounds like they had every com done. But then as you go down the line here, oh, wait, we're going here. Bill Owens became the operations lead. 1 year later, the former Joint Chiefs vice chairman was consulting for Huawei and pushing CCP propaganda in U.S. media. Oh, but these are just, some generals and stuff like that, and surely it won't go over to, I don't know, the State Department. Oh, wait, secret back channel did not remain confined to retired generals. Within a year, its delegates were sitting face-to-face with Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. So they say this, and she poses this out as, oh, these guys were recruited to, quote, push things that are favorable, advance positions favorable to Beijing or China. I'm guessing that's more than just narrative bullshit, right?
Narrative bullshit, and then go check their bank accounts in offshore shell companies down in the Caymans.
Turns to 20 transfers in between. Sorry, Mike.
It's okay. It's so even when they retire in the business world, you have a lot of colonels and generals, even retired senior enlisted people will come up and start their own businesses and want to get a startup project rolling, with DARPA or with any other organization for something they built or something they're working on that they know it'll be augmented to work into military capacity and operations wherever it is. And what they have to worry about in the business world internationally is just that what we're looking at here is, I've known a lieutenant general who has been prospected, by the Chinese for the type of work that they do for the U.S. government. And, he has to have his own security team, his family, his house, brothers, sisters, has to have their own security team to make sure that they're taken care of. So even when people retire and they go out and launch these, startup companies that, that they know they can do, and they can do it absolutely the correct way, and it gets going. And, you have these headhunter spies from Beijing, from China, even from Russia, from North Korea, a lot of different places. And, and that's, you can't forget the undercut role of, when you retire and you're going to do a startup business, or you have a big business that's been going on for a while, is exactly these things. And the thing is when one of the things is when people like this get caught up into it, is they can get blackmailed, they can be compromised with compromising information. They'll send information. They'll hone into the person who has all the technology information, the CTO, the directors, special projects directors or managers, and and really hone into them. And that's where that word compromat comes in. And and that's a real deal there. And so to see all those generals and and leadership people on there, it doesn't really shock me. because it happens. It happens more than you think, and it's unfortunate to see that people actually accepting it and being okay with it. That's the sickening portion of it.
It is.
And
it's the human condition, and 9 times out of 10, those recruiters, as you mentioned, let's use it as an example for the Chinese, don't necessarily have slanted eyes or brown skin either. Okay, don't forget that.
Oh,
ask me how I know.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Right. So why? Well, he's Chinese. He's from China, and he's a recruiter. Wait a minute, I smell something wrong here. Something wrong. No, not something wrong. Right.
we too low. Bang.
Yeah.
Now.
It could be it could be a 6'6", blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guy.
Yeah.
Who is a recruiter for the CCP, right? But you wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Even when I was in Huntsville, you had a bunch of sharks out there, recruiter headhunter sharks. And there was 2 times that we were notified that 2 of the people were actually foreign agents that were working as recruiters and headhunters. And exactly as Armando is saying, they come in, you have no idea, they lived in America, they're born in America, they were born in Iowa, born in Kansas all their life, served in the military, or didn't serve in the military, and they were handpicked. And sometimes these people that are headhunters, these sharks that come out to go poach other people from one company to another, sometimes they don't even know that they're doing it. And and the others, they do know. And
for the hardcore, the ones who do know, there's always rooms in the swamps down yonder.
Yes.
Now what would that be? They would be trying to poach you guys for like what? Maybe like a contracting gig, or more of the science and technology stuff that you guys know?
Oh,
anything they can get,
or all of the above.
It's all the above. Yeah, it could be anything.
Wow. That's wild. I mean, guys, at the end of the day, I really think, and especially the younger people nowadays, like the 25 and under crowd would go, that's horrible. But like, I honestly am not, kidding in any way, shape, or form when I say they need to like pull out some people and pull out some nooses and some firing squads, because until they do something like that, what's going to stop anybody from doing this in the future? It seems like, these guys are pegged on it and they keep doing it. And another issue that I have, and please, if you guys have any other, ideas to stop this stuff, I think
counterintelligence needs to double.
Yeah, definitely. But, and also, what do you call it? Security clearances. I'm sorry, but when you stop working for our government, your security clearance should be gone immediately, because these people are using it for that.
Depending on who you are and what you do and your performance over the years.
But not every Tom, Dick, and Harry should get to keep it. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, absolutely agreed.
And even the presidents, like people would say, well, the president would need to. Yeah, all right. So you're telling me President Trump called up Obama, was like, oh, I have this situation in this area. Could you give me a hand? Like, I don't think that's probably ever happened.
I don't think so.
You know what I mean?
No.
So like, and we know what they do with it. These other companies, whatever, want to recruit these people solely because they do have access to this intelligence, right? And that's why
we've already had ex-presidents who are. Look, if you really profiled them correctly, you'd hang them tomorrow. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a joke, of course. But I'm just saying, if you've profiled some of them and their overreaching involvement at a certain level, again, above that the troposphere sovereign layer, way up there. But
then you got the nitwits on the inside
to protect them.
Yeah, you got also the nitwits on the inside, right?
Oh yeah.
That the deal makers, right? The movers and the shakers, right? That is publicly known in the mainstream media. Oh, so and so is working on this project or this deal with this foreign government and this and that. But amongst themselves, they're cutting deals under the table. to line their
Yeah.
pockets. And that's where the shit gets hairy.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's times in when I was in Huntsville, we went out to Utah to work with other contractors, and it wasn't foreign agents or foreign foreign countries, foreign militaries or whatsoever. It was corporations within the religious institutions that were actually coming in and seeking out intelligence and information. um so it's not just always military, it's not just always
No.
other FSB or CIA or whatever it may be. It could be these religious institutions, it could be all sorts of different players. And even like when you think of the president, like people coming, like hey, do you mind doing a speaking engagement, and we'll pay you $250,000 for 4 hours and stuff. And you have and then you have other people who have security clearances, and so there's players out there that there's people called super users who have think of them as above top secret SCI poly, and the higher than a Q clearance, and they're augmented around to do pretty much anything that they want, and they're specialists in many things. And then you have other facets to where when things are very, very secret, things aren't even talked about. So sometimes within these companies, that when you're working on a very, very, you could say just working on a very secret project, sometimes there is no security clearances. There's just NDAs, and there's a very
Black
high,
projects.
yeah,
Off books, black projects.
yeah, it's off the books, black projects, what works. And when I say what works, I don't mean the traditional what works. I mean we're talking about business what works. And it's
Big oil is a prime example, right, Doc?
There you go.
Big oil is a prime example.
Yep.
Big oil, in Texas, right?
Oil's very slippery.
Yeah, it's the big corporate heads, as Doc is saying here, the big corporate heads, the deal makers, the one that makes the connections, the ones that, is in charge. Oh, here's a perfect example. Just watch Landman. Just watch Landman.
Good show.
Absolutely. Yes.
Just watch Landman. In cahoots with the cartels for certain pieces of land. We're going to buy this land because it's got a long, straight stretch of road. We can use that as a runway to land a private, Learjet or something like that, offload, unload product, do whatever, but you can't mess with it. Why? Well, it belongs to Shell Oil, as an example. So there's no jurisdiction there, right? You can't. And then local law enforcement is also paid off, and they get corrupted. Just watch Landman. They're giving it to you right there.
Oh, that's
Especially-
an excellent show.
Especially when you get into projects and operations into the Indian reservations, it's a free for all. It is a free
It's
for
been
all.
that way since Iran Contra, since they figured that out of let's say sovereign jurisdiction versus U.S. jurisdiction, and that one out by Southern California. Oh my God! People need to see. There's a really good documentary that was done on that. I think 3-part. I forget the name of it. Dang, but it goes back into the weeds of certain individuals with that.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed that show.
One of them, at the age of 12, ran his own phone system in his neighborhood for his friends and parents' friends, and then built an underwater drug lab in a nearby lake. And when they caught him, they put him to work. But sometimes that's just what you do, because the initiative is so brilliant, you have to give it time, because who else is doing that in the country?
Just like the 16-year-old Filipino that we busted when I was in uniform,
I think
working
he
out
was
of
17 or 18 when he built that lab underwater, or 20, somewhere around there.
working out of his parents' tin shed shack in the garage, freaking, hacked into freaking DOD. Or sorry, not DOD, into NIS, right?
Jeez.
Hacked into it, and he got caught. 16 years old, disappeared, never heard from him again. Well, who does you think he works for now?
He's working, yeah. Just like
Oh,
I
yeah.
sent you guys earlier, right? I sent you guys that video of, and this is something I just heard about recently. Allegedly, the guy made a time machine in his backyard. And if you didn't see the video that I sent you guys earlier, you may have heard this guy call in on the Art Bell show a couple times. And then he got arrested
Yes.
because he stole some Transformers or whatever. And then he went missing, I
Yeah.
guess, for like 20 years. I didn't get to, listen to the end of the video, but there are very intelligent people out there, and they're absolutely right. Like, I remember this one guy was on Rogan, and he was an inventor, and he was like, yeah, this one guy, I don't know if he created something like a car to run on like nothing or water or something like that. And he goes, yeah, this guy was every year he would be at this, show where we're trying to sell our inventions. And all of a sudden next year he was gone, and next year he's gone, and 10 years didn't see the guy. He's like, yeah, they bought it off me and shelved it. So this is what's happening. Like, we have technology where Nikola Tesla powered 50 light bulbs from 5 miles away over 100 years ago with no wires. Also created a box that you could put outside of your house to give you energy occurring in the atmosphere. But yet we still plug in things like idiots and get paid and charged every month for a stupid electric bill. So yeah, there's big changes need to be happening.
Yeah, because it's as simple. H2O, 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. There's water. All right, deuterium is heavy water with an extra, I think it's, what is it, hydrogen, a third? But anyway, if you put a charge through it, like a spark plug, it does what people refer to as cracking it. It separates the hydrogen and oxygen. So what you're getting out of the exhaust of the same engine that's burning gas is water vapor and hydrogen, but not in amounts that it could, detonate. It's diluted, but that's how that was done. It's that simple. And then they adjusted the carburation to it. And now if you can work this out in your garage, just do it and shut up. That's all, until there's a time when you can bring it out, because I think that time is coming very soon. And I'm not being Pollyannic about this. I'm being realistic about it. We're heading into a time where information is going to flow and things are going to change, because you've got an imitation brains out there that are just getting better every day exponentially.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about the guy that made is an African American kid, young, like early 20s, that was making either gasoline or diesel, something that would run your car out of trash and like plastics and stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, you better watch his butt. He better definitely watch his rear end as well.
If I remember correctly, I think it was in the beginning, like the mid beginning, like he had a short scare call with some people coming after him, and he went offline for a bit, and then he came back on. But no, I remember that. Yeah.
Some very smart individuals on here. And guys, I had a funny on the screen here the whole time. I didn't even know, because you were talking about how politicians enriched themselves. What Armando was saying, they're making deals background here. Example, Gateway Bridge Project, 1.8 million, Cory Booker, Singapore. $400,000, Chris Christie, Mary Pat, U.S. But the funniest one is, remember, all of a sudden he's Mr. Palestine? Like, I would never thought that. 3.5 million, Chuck Schumer in Israel. Yay. Wait.
Jeez.
He's Mr. Palestine now all of a sudden. I'd never thought I'd see that one, guys.
Look how cheap they're bought. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and the thing, like, okay, so, especially like, working, I really got to see how representatives really worked during the withdrawal of Afghanistan, and it was very eye-opening for me, just to put it lightly.
To watch people eat from the buffet,
in essence, but $3.5 million to Chuck Schumer is just a nickel to whoever's
I was going to say it's a pittance.
Yeah. So it may seem like a lot of money to us, in essence, but to whoever is paying him, the payee, that is not a lot of money.
That's petty cash. That's
it's
out of the
petty-
petty
yeah, it's
cash
petty
drawer,
cash.
because the big payoff is, what can Mr. Schumer do for me down the road?
Absolutely.
There you go.
And with that too, and with him taking that money, now they have him on bribery, blackmail, and so they're going to hang all this stuff over him, or whoever it may be, until the end of dawn. And and unless he comes out and says, hey, I fucked up, I need help, this is what's going on, I'm going to turn myself in. They're just going to be there. They're just going to be there doing this over and over and over again, and they're not going to let you go.
Isn't Mr. Nadler's home being investigated right now by the FBI out there in Cali?
Mr. Nadler.
I read that somewhere on X. Yeah.
Well, the only problem is every time they get closer, they have to fumigate the house before they go in, from what I understand. Too much hydrogen sulfide in the air.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Just
I haven't seen him in a while. Not in a very
he's on the
long time.
toilet.
Yeah, he's on the toilet.
He very well might be. All right, guys, you ready?
I mean, look, here, I'll leave it with this, with like Swalwell. If somebody farts on national TV, just open a
That
file
would be Chuck Schumer.
on them. Yeah, he's
Both.
added to the club now. I mean, they have to have an all-star farting club on, and all of us fart. I mean, yes, my wife.
Everybody
Anyway.
poops.
Yeah, but I'm just making a joke here, but it didn't. I guess I floundered. I don't know.
Everybody poops. Okay. Well, since I'm on
I
X
just
here,
farted
guys.
verbally.
All right, who's gonna be awake tonight when it passes midnight and it's 2:35 in the morning? Are you waiting for it?
Because something's going to hit the moon, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting for that, guys. Here
I
you
thought
go.
I missed it.
I had.
Is it going to ring like a bell?
That's what they're saying. I had.
Oh,
I had.
no.
I had Gronk make me this.
Tonight, a piece of a SpaceX rocket is on a collision course with the moon. As it hurtles through space, its trail grows longer and brighter. The impact will be powerful, creating a massive explosion. A plume of dust and debris will rise from the lunar surface. Tonight,
It's a booster stage that's been out there for a while.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. It's an upper stage of the Falcon 9, but as
Yeah,
I said
it's been whipping around, and now it's broken free of Earth.
You're
And
going
it's
to
in
piss
the-
off a bunch of reptilians, man, and other ones that are under there somewhere. You're just going to piss them right off.
it's gonna ring like a bell. Ding, ding. As I said, I'll bet it all that we won't see
They're
a damn
just knocking
thing.
on the door, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, at least make it look good. Show us something, But
Yeah.
2:35.
Think of the mechanics of that. I don't mean because y'all hold that thought, because I'm going to be out there watching it probably. But think about it. The idea that out of all these boosters, space is really big as you get beyond the surface of the Earth. It just is exponential as you go
Yes.
out. It's an inverse square as far as area. When you get out to the moon, 250,000 plus miles out, that's a pretty good accidental shot if you think about it. And the fact that we might be able to see it. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
You guys are so
Absolutely.
cute.
Space is from what I worked on in the arena of space is huge. That's the one thing that impresses me the most is space.
The
There's
final frontier.
Absolutely. That said best.
To boldly go where no man has gone
Gone
before,
before. Yeah.
especially Voyager
William
1.
Shatner, Captain Kirk
What it
is
found.
still doing shows, man.
Dude, you want to see a horrible show? You ever see Will Shatner do spoken word songs? Oh my
God.
word. Rocket Man. Burning. Oh, this feel up there alone.
Everybody flubs.
Dude, we had it. We do our Saturday show with me and Hulk, and we let the viewers pick. We do the Dominion voting at the end, and that was it. And I thought it was like, it was going to be a spoken word thing at the beginning, like he was joking. But the whole damn thing, I'm like, oh, this is awful.
I know what you're talking about.
New rule: no more spoken word.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I had this one up a little while ago, and Mike,
But
you had mentioned.
I give Captain Kirk a pass always.
Why you must give him a pass? He
Spock,
doesn't know what he's doing.
Spock.
He doesn't know where he's gotta go. I've got to.
You're
mister.
half human.
Mike, you mentioned CTO earlier, and I think you were just talking about a particular person in like a position. Was it Chief Technology Officer or something along those lines, or
Yeah.
Undersecretary for War and Research and Engineering? They've been giving us a lot of these cool, memes and stuff lately. But I also noticed somebody else had a very cool post. Do you remember this one? Because this is around that weird time that we dealt with here. Remember this?
Because if you fly over these areas that are burned to the ground, you'll see in the midst of 20 homes that are just totally destroyed, one home sitting there because it had the right roof on it. And anyway, since I took off.
Oh my God, what a moron.
Had the right roof on it. They mean sturdy roof, right? Like a nice structurally sturdy roof.
No, that's not what he meant. What he meant to say, is that the roof was painted blue.
Yep.
Yes.
You guys know why, right?
Yeah, so you have to go into the optical laser refraction.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because you heard that from a living, breathing spud.
Yeah.
Potato.
Where's his ice cream at?
This is going. I brought this one on for two different reasons. Because we had it looks like DEWs, like they were mentioning DEWs,
Sure.
Directed Energy Dominance, it said, right? But then somebody posted this old Red Pill Drifter.
At least you have some
posted
remnants.
this old
You have literally an engine that is melded together with other parts of the car. Moving over, you've got another car they moved here. It looks like it's been through a war. You can see the papers, all the
It's like, what?
burned out papers from the building. You see the soot and the dirt, and it just shows you how devastating this blast was. Look across.
So that's, I believe, 9/11.
If you were in the
9/11.
density wavelength of it, you got hot. If it wasn't, it didn't.
Interesting. Now, do you guys think they used DEWs on that day, or do you think that was just thermite?
I don't know.
9/11.
I don't know.
I've worked, so in Huntsville, I've worked with directed energy weapons, and those have been around since the 60s. Being built up from its basic element stage to where they're at now. So they've been around for years and years and years. And as far, I don't want to get as far as to as far as defense and warfare capacity to what they can do, but they've been around for a long time, and it's actually kind of cool to see that they're coming out and announcing that they're using different types of lasers, photonic weapons, and
Sorry, guys.
Kirk had that. They were called photon torpedoes.
Yeah. And it's not just laser weapons too. There's something called psionic warfare, and I got to have the luxury, or not the luxury, gratefulness to study under someone very well trained in it, and he mentored me in psionic warfare. And so psionic warfare combined with laser warfare machinery or defense weapons is probably the most badass thing that you're going to see besides a nuclear bomb going off, because there's a lot of stuff that it can do.
Psionics.
Well, I remember living when I grew up and would visit my grandparents on weekends in a certain city. Well, I'm going to give it away by saying Frankfurt Arsenal. The next door neighbor, who was very close to my grandfather, worked at Frankfurt Arsenal. And he was dying of cancer when I was 13, 14 years old. And he took me and my brother down into the basement. And he said, now I know people are oriented to think something fucking weird happened there. No, it was, here's his drafting board. Here's some pamphlets. And he says, I'm not supposed to be showing you any. This is how young I was. I'm not supposed to be showing you any of this. But here's this box that's sitting on top of an M16, the old M16. And he says, when it finds a human outline and temperature, it fires automatically. Then he showed us this thing that was on this is pre-Abrams tanks, the latest iteration before that in the 70s. I forget what it was. What was it?
It was like the Gen 2 Shermans?
Yeah, the Shermans. Yeah. And on the front of it was this giant box. And it was I think it was M65 laser rangefinder, which gave them targeting information and range and, elevation for the cannon and all of that. It wasn't near the sophistication of the Abrams, of, a gyroscopically controlled cannon, let alone then going to the later 120 millimeter smoothbore Rheinmetall version. But this, he was saying, but this isn't what I want to tell you about. And this shows you the character of this man. He was saying, I've told my children, they were older than my brother and I. And he says, I'm telling you, and I didn't know why at the time. I didn't know why until I was watching him die in his hospital bed on a visit. And he said, I just came back from Arizona where we tested something. He said a carbon dioxide laser that fired through 4-point-something miles of telephone poles 100 feet apart for the entire. That's 5,280. That's 52.8 per mile times 4, let's say 4.2. It made the size of a grapefruit hole until it finally ran out of energy to pierce through the next one other than setting it on fire. He said, this is the world you're going into. You should know about this stuff. Because my brother and I were not, normal, hopscotching at that age boys. And I feel fortunate to be able to share a story like that, because as I'm saying it to you, that lesson never left me. So
you were like me. You were like the kid out in the backyard using a magnifying glass, frying lizards.
Yeah. Well, I told you guys about the laser I just ordered that I was like, wow, I can order this. And I stuck it on my hand and I was like, fuck, I burned myself in a split second. A blue 5,000 milliamp blue labor. I'm like, what a dumbass. But I had to know.
I got to know.
That son of it'll set a match on fire in 3 seconds.
I want to get.
And it's like, no, it even comes with protective glasses for that wavelength. And I haven't looked at specifics yet. But it's like, pretty cool. I might mount this to my rifle. I'll figure it out. Oh,
God.
Well, something,
that sucker will go out, 3,000 feet easy.
And just for the audience here, this is interesting on the law enforcement side too. Is if you remember the South by Southwest shooting in Vegas, and then you have the fires in Hawaii. If you the police chief that was in charge of the fires in Hawaii, I believe was the former undersheriff in Metro Las Vegas.
Sure was.
And
Pelletier, was it?
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And then Lombardo became governor, and then he became the I believe it was the police chief over in Hawaii, Maui, when all the fires happened over there. And then all of a sudden, people were asking questions, and I was asking questions around. and I got some answers to it. But publicly, everything got swept under the rug. It just went silent, and and that was on the mainstream media. But there's definitely some correlation between the two of them. That much I can say.
John
I
Pelletier.
did. Yep, I did catch a video out there too when the Las Vegas shooting happened from that way up high up there hotel room. Somebody else shot a video. I don't know if it was fake or not, but it looked real to me. You saw no muzzle flash coming out of there, but yet behind the hotel there was a helicopter, and there was a lot of muzzle flash coming out of what looked like a 50 cal, right, spraying the crowd. I found that kind of interesting. I'm like,
Where?
In
the Las Vegas shooting.
Yeah,
helicopters. There was a few
A
people that
50
were
will have
reporting on
some
that.
pretty heavy wounds.
Yeah. Well, there were. I mean, they were sawing. It could have been. It could have been a 249. I mean, I don't know. But you could distinctly see, and it wasn't aircraft light at night. No, I know what a muzzle flash looked like, and trust me, that was muzzle flash coming out of there.
Well, and if you listen to the fire rate too, it's musical. Machine guns. It's
burst
back and forth. It's it's the my from what what I'll say publicly is I can say you can 249 Bravo. You got singing 249s. If not something else, but
that's just like the difference between shooting an AK-47 and an M4. The AK-47 has a distinct ping to it, and I can call it out when I hear it. I'm like, that's an AK.
You can tell there's between an AK and an M4.
There's an
Very
acoustic
distinctive
signature
cracks.
to an AK that is just like, oh man, yeah, I know what that is.
Every weapon, every gun, virtually every gun, and every jet engine. There were times I could just say, that's a so-and-so flying over, and I didn't even turn around and look. You just get used to it. It's just mastering your environment. And
after
learn these signatures.
Yeah, when the Vegas shooting happened, I was speaking to my friend, and he was a recce, and so he was a specialist in everything, aircraft, munitions, and he was like, it's dancing machine guns, coming down, and so for him, him being a recce and him, listening to what's going on through whether it's the phones or through being recorded through the phones, and just listening to it, right, and him being a subject matter expert recce, just that tells me enough right there. And that's not even going into the investigation itself. That's an entirely different story, but there's and additionally with the hotel there, a portion of that hotel from that level of the floor up was owned by a certain person from a certain country. And so there's a lot of things, and I think we spoke on Space on the last show about a couple different princes that were actually there that day.
Very interesting.
But all those in all this, let's face civilians, what hear is the screams.
Of course.
I'd be listening for, where is the fire coming from? Where do I need to duck and cover immediately? All of us would. And then okay, where's the threat? Where is it emanating from? But when people start screaming, that's all they hear. And that is what makes you get a sick feeling in the pit of your stomach about these things. Every time, always.
And I had a friend that worked the investigation, and he showed me some of the pathology reports of the deceased and the trajectory of the impacts of the wounds. They came from above. They weren't at a downward angle, which was very interesting itself. So there's a lot more to it than I hope one day that the truth does come out, and I hope it does come out.
There was all sorts of issues with the. I remember there's a dude. That dude John Cullen did a pretty good breakdown on a bunch of different issues. But then they even went to the point where some of the bodies were past rigor mortis that were being checked out. And I'm just going off of memory on this stuff, but essentially they're going off of memory and what had been reported for. I mean, we've reported this for a few years, even Mike. The fact that Al Walid bin Talal and Bill Gates, they have ownership, or they're part of the largest ownership stakes in the Four Seasons Hotel and Resorts Company. So what we've always reported here is oh yeah, they own the top 2 floors or whatever, kind of. But yeah, Bill Gates and dopey Al Walid bin Talal, who President Trump said, when I become president, you can't use daddy's money to destroy the world or whatever he said to him. But yeah, that whole Las Vegas thing was completely just, it was a head fake. But I had never heard anybody, still to this day, Mike, I've never heard anybody mention Prince Harry.
Right, so the one person of interest I would say to look into is Tagliati, and he was I believe at that time he was the chief of security for the hotel. And Tagliati is somebody, a very a high value person of interest to look into, because there is a lot of footage. You could say that was erased, or the recordings time lapsed over and recorded over everything. So there's a lot of players in what happened. Which I don't mind. I can email it to you, and I don't mind sharing it with you.
This guy, maybe director of Nevada. I don't know if this is the same guy, but this is a George Tagliati.
Yeah. So it should say, go down to his work.
Director of Public Safety, Special Agent for the FBI. Was he at one point?
No, it's you want to go to his casino work.
The naval aviator. This might be a different guy. I might have the wrong Tagliati.
Yeah, so Tagliati and the guy Lombardo are basically best friends at that time, and so yeah, and
really?
So Tagliati and Lombardo were working together.
That is
which
him. That's the right guy.
Yeah, so I'll share that with you, and then if you want to do maybe the next show, we can go over everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't mind doing that.
I'd have a blast with that one. So this guy, yeah, it is the right dude. George Tagliati. I wasn't sure because the link, but the link says George Tagliati served as a vice president of security, surveillance, and safety at Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino, former FBI supervisory special agent, and later left MGM Resorts in 2019 to return to the director of the Nevada Department of Public Safety. Wow, it's amazing how some of these people get all these public safety jobs. Like, what's her name there from Massachusetts? They're renting out the house there that they found the dead body at. Well, her husband, husband, I think, did 10 years, and now he runs public safety in Boston. Isn't that cute? Oh my God.
Yeah, give him something to shut him up that other people can run.
Keep him out of jail, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always interesting. When something bad happens, people always typically in this capacity get a promotion, or get a
fail to the top, man.
Somewhere else, yeah.
Just like my day job.
Principle.
fail your way to the top. Well, yeah, it's kind of like you were talking about as far as the intelligence. The lower intelligence people are easier to kind of sway. It's kind of the same in this respect as well. And why do I get a Gavin Newsom?
Young and sharp.
Gavin Newsom.
But oh God,
right? Doesn't he have that?
Just step aside.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Nothing good you can say about him.
No, this dude's just got the typical Gavin Newsom, typical politician. Yeah, typical politician smirk and smile. It's just crazy.
You know how you can tell that? You know what differentiates let's say a politician / say top businessman smile from? It's very simple. Look at the eyes. The eyes don't smile.
Yep.
When someone's truly smiling, their eye smile. I always
That's
look
true.
for the smile in the eyes of someone. And if it ain't there, something's going on or something's
The,
missing
the windows
every
to the
time.
soul.
Oh, you mean like
Exactly.
Windows to the soul.
you
If
mean
there's
like
anything
when BB
Shakespeare said, that,
Yeah.
yeah.
when he was
Yep.
talking with
Look at, he's got some cold ass eyes when you come down to it.
oh no, like if you look at Rubio and
Yeah.
what's his name,
Yeah.
Pegseth with the scowl, and then
Yep.
like Armando mentioned, he turned all the way around on him, but that scowl, yeah, and that's what I looked for. It's like when people are happy, you look at the eyes, like you can tell happiness, versus not. So definitely, it's definitely
Versus
worth looking at the
a
whole thing.
well-practiced
Yeah.
muscular grin,
You know,
toothy grin.
and here's a good neuro-linguistic. You could use it as a test, or if you're in an interview, or if you're talking to somebody that you want the truth out of, or if you think that they're lying to you, is when you're talking to them, stare at the middle of their forehead. And when you're talking, talk directly, with your eyes and your mouth projecting towards the middle of their forehead. And you'll see how if they become very uncomfortable, and
Exactly.
start talking faster, start shifting their hand movements around,
The
mannerisms
hands
around,
will,
then
yep,
something's afoot, and then you
yeah.
know that something's going on. And so
The
that's a
hands
little trade.
reshifting their body, a whole number of things.
Yeah, it's a little
And
trade secret right there.
it's patently obvious. And people don't know how to hide that because most of them aren't aware of it. They just
Right.
think they're running their game.
Now, is that
And
something that's hard boiled into like your DNA, like you're subconsciously noticing that somebody's staring at you and it makes you uncomfortable? Like, is that a reaction? Why? Is that why you get that reaction?
No, you get that reaction because they're thinking, wait a minute, they're thinking, are my defenses strong enough? Am I getting away with what I'm saying? Is he buying what I'm saying? And when they start with the body language like that, there's not a fucking thing you're buying from them. You're just listening to everything and let them fucking talk.
Yeah.
Talk.
They
The
will
more
give
people
you
talk.
patience and skills with human beings. In the fullness of time, everything will be revealed. I promise you that. And that's coming. You have to be of a disposition of total understanding of who you are, what your reality is about, what reality is about as best as you can ascertain, because none of us have it figured out. It's a real shit show circus on this planet to begin with. But when you can identify these things, it becomes a matter of it becomes integrated with your own instinct. And usually it's what you try and determine, say, in somebody younger or newer, what their level of instinct already is in those areas. And you can see their weak points and their strong points. And you just go from there. But yeah, it's easy to see. And the more relaxed you are, and because okay, I'm here, there's nothing I can do, let's smile and enjoy the show. They're putting it on. And that makes them even more nervous, and more comes out, or more diversion comes out that you can say, yeah, that's diversion. And why? Because it always points back to here. And when you can read people like that, well, it's more important than having a gun. Put it that way.
Very interesting. So let's switch it up a little bit here. Armando, I sent this to the group just maybe a little bit before the show, maybe an hour, half hour before the show started, and I don't know, you would have much better contacts over there in Cuba, but did they get their lights back on? I'm hearing that it's being reported anyways.
Partial. The regime, actually, my network down there just now, and I can say this, it doesn't matter. A text comes on periodically. That's the state-owned cellular service down there. And they will power it on for, let's just say, 4 to 5 hours now. And the only reason being is because they're doing it for other reasons, which I'm not going to get into here. But my folks are sending comms twice a day, no more than 10 minutes at a time. That's it. And then they just shut it off because they don't know, if they're being watched or who's listening or whatnot, because obviously they are, especially if they're using the, I can't even pronounce it, the Huawei or whatever freaking chink phones they use over there. They have those dialed in pretty good. Fortunately, my folks don't have those phones. They have other ones that they use, right? So they have the luxury of doing that, but that does not negate the obvious, which is, the eyes, the physical eyes are always watching.
And then I think you had
They
dropped
do have
this
partial
out.
power. Yeah, they do have partial power, and the only reason being is because the state has a amassment of fuel. They just do, but that's just for them. Mobilized police cars, but they don't really show that off too much because that would lead to more unrest, right? So sometimes they roll, sometimes they don't, but they got eyes in the skies too. Believe me when I tell you. These people are crafty, man. They've been at this game forever. They learn from the best. They hone their skills. They're old school as hell. The less electronics that they use, the better off they are.
Absolutely.
And don't laugh. You know what their common mode of messaging is down there? Carrier pigeon. I said it.
Really?
Don't laugh at all.
No.
They're very,
World War
very
I
good at
and World War II.
They're very good at carrier pigeon, communications, training, and stuff like that, getting messages wherever they need to go. Completely off electronics. Totally. They're
Worked in
very
Game
good
of Thrones. Well, actually, they used ravens, but yeah, birds. I mean,
Well,
what are the ranges on
whatever.
one of those things? Do we know? Like, how far would a pigeon go?
You can take it. Well, you can take a carrier pigeon halfway around the world.
Really?
It will find its way home. Yeah,
Yep.
That's crazy.
it will find its way home. They have ferrite. I don't know the details of the biology. From what I understand, there's in certain nervous tissue in the front of their beak. In some I've read in the brain, it's a ferrite material, and they know the magnetic signature
Yep.
of where they live, and
Yep.
they will seek that out. So it may take them a year or more, but they will get back to where they were born. That's what makes the carrier pigeon a back pocket,
They're breeding.
old school weapon.
That's why they have massed amount of cages and they breed there. They're born there. They eat there. They don't forget. It's
Yeah.
just one of their basic instincts, right? They don't forget that, right?
How does it know
And
to go
it's just real.
How does it know to go to the next place? Like, I say, if you grow one up and raise it, like, how do you teach it to go to one place and not the other, or just
You
randomly go
take it
someplace?
there. What you
Ah.
do is you take it from its home and you take it to wherever you're going.
And then make it go home?
I
Essentially.
mean, yeah, in the Cold War, before, let's say, high altitude and satellite reconnaissance was perfected as far as the camera mechanisms, they actually used carrier pigeons that yielded some very good
I saw
intel
that.
in Russian locations. Yeah, there was my wife showed me something on TV about that the other day. And I already known about this, where all you have to do is go to the opposite side of what you want photographs. Set the camera on a timer. It weighs grams. It's no more than the weight of an egg if it were inside a female's body. And the males can easily carry it, and the females can. And then they would fly over these. They take it to the other side of a large base in Russia, and then they'd let it loose. It would fly over, and they were surprised at the pictures they got. But it wasn't just one bird; it was many birds. And I
Like this
guess that
one.
was
Yeah.
easy to figure out when a pigeon had an accident and dies on the sidewalk, and it's got a camera attached to it. The game's up.
It's the same concept. It's basically the same concept as a dog. right? You've got a good dog and stuff like that. And let's say my grandfather would prove this over to me over and over again on the plantation, huge plantation. He would take our dog, you know, he's just like a regular, like a lab, right? And he would take it, shit, man, 50, 60 kilometers out into the middle of nowhere and drop him off. And then he'd leave.
No, what you're showing now, go ahead,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
hours later, that dog would find his way back home, would drop him off in a place that he'd never been to. He just randomly. Well, my grandfather says, you know how he found his way back home? And I'm like, how, Grandpa? Does he have good memory? And he goes, no, his nose.
Oh,
Their scent, and their hearing is so far above what we can even imagine.
It's like
they
600
find their way
times
home by
better.
scent,
Yeah.
and they find their way home every time. Pigeons, same thing, but they do it not necessarily with their nose. It's more like Ghost was saying. It's something in their vision and their brain. Just remember falconry. Look at falconry back in the day, right?
Oh,
still today.
Yeah,
Yep.
you got that Birdman.
What you're showing there is pigeons that they trained to identify the silhouettes of ships with food. So when they pecked at the silhouette of a ship, they got a little nugget of, you know, a little piece of grain or whatever they eat. I don't know if they eat bacon or corn, probably corn. I'm just joking. I'll take the bacon. But they were trained that way. They were put inside of a bomb. And there was, I don't know how they made the view. It was rudimentary TV or whatever, because they were using television guided bombs in World War II. And then you see the pigeon poking at the outline it's familiar with, and that's guiding the missile. That actually is beak pecking the surface that he's pecking, is giving electrical responses to the circuitry that is controlling the fins.
Mm-hmm.
And that pigeon, and it was actually more accurate than they thought, but it wasn't. Sometimes they would get distracted, so the bomb would go flying off somewhere else. But so I don't know what the hit rate was on these, but I know the Germans and us had television guided bombs by the end of the war. Night vision, World War II. Television, I mean, precision guided weapons, World War II. Jet engines, World War II. Multiple nations, not just Germany. So many things came out of that time frame.
Wow.
That's why it's always been an important time frame to study. But
I'll tell you something else that came out way back then, like what you're talking about too, Ghost, is the SEALs had what they called the UDTs, underwater demolition team, and they will work at times side by side with U.S. Navy divers, right? And they would work with dolphins.
Yep.
They would use and train dolphins to carry explosives to certain targets whatsoever, magnetic ones, right? And they would place magnetic charges, either on a stationary sub or a ship or a bridge or whatever. And they'd take it out there. They were trained. They knew it. Dolphin would go. Nobody would think anything. Click. They would attach the device. They would free up from the dolphin. And dolphin would go back home.
Isn't that why it's illegal to interact with dolphins or something of the sort?
Yeah, because the Russians just made it so that as soon as they went clink, they blew up, and the dolphin was bye-bye.
No, we were a little bit more. We were a little bit more humane, but but you'd be surprised, man, at the tools that Mother Nature provided us. Back then, that go virtually undetected because you would never think of it. Who would think that a dolphin was going to come up on my frigate, and attach a bomb to it? And then it's like, well, we weren't torpedoed. Nobody was an aerial attack, so what the hell happened? Well, Flipper came along and, flipped your ship upside down.
Man, Flipper's got to have more medals than Audie Murphy.
Exactly.
It says even the military likes to play Angry Birds, and there was another good one up here. Rumor has it they get 100 treats when they go to heaven. 100 treats. Operation Blackout. But and Mike, you had sensed, I whenever I talk about what we're about to talk about, I always defer because technology is not my deal at all. But you had dropped something interesting talking about, I'm guessing it's chips, nanometers, 1 nanometer barrier. And again, I know Hulk always takes this stuff when we talk because
Down to 1 nanometer? Wow.
yeah, I'm just wait, is it here? No, it's this one. I do have it over here. I'll pull it over. But yeah, Medium has it. It's posted on Medium.
Oh yes, from my friend Tim Ventura. Yeah.
Interesting. So again, maybe could you do this if you're able, which I'm sure you are. Could you explain this like you're trying to explain it to like elementary school kids? Because I get what they're trying to do. You're trying to get it so it can do more information and more processes is on a smaller area is what I'm getting, but I don't understand like the nanometer. I mean, I understand a nanometer is very small.
It.
But so that's it. They're just trying to jam as much information or as much processes that they can on each chip. And so what does that mean, like the 1 nanometer barrier exactly?
What is it? Nanometer is a millionth of a meter?
Mm-hmm.
Guys?
I believe so.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the spacing in between the circuitry pathways, which in a computer, in the CPU, you have what's called logic gates. And that simply means you have a certain charge here and a certain charge right next to it. And add that a billion times, hundreds of millions at minimum these days. The closer you can make them, because again, everything is zeros and ones. Doesn't matter, AI, whatever. Stop thinking AI can be a living, breathing, sentient thing. No, this is all wet dreams out of Silicon Valley. It's not possible. To mimic what we are, absolutely. All you need is the more processing power in the smallest area you can get it. So you've got transistors, resistors, and basically billions of little what is it? It holds a charge,
break it down.
but it holds a charge.
Yeah.
But it's not a battery.
No, picture this in your mind. So basically 1 nanometer is equal to, 1 times 10th, which meters 1 billionth of a meter.
Yeah, a billionth, okay.
A billionth of a meter is 1 nanometer. So how much can you pack in that?
Years ago, it was 15 nanometers. The best memory chips up till recently that public could buy were 5 nanometers. The CPUs that they want to use for data centers, by and large, have been 3 nanometers. If you're talking 1 nanometers, then you've just had a 66% increase in processing power for the same given space.
Now imagine the size of the chip and its processing capabilities when you drop that into a nanobot, like for surgery or whatever.
Down at the molecular level.
Bingo. There you go.
It's a whole different ball of wax. It's even more powerful.
That's
than what we're talking about.
Probably on the quantum level. And I mean, say hello to super advanced AI.
Right. And so with the nanometer chip here, it's the nanostack changes the arrangement, which so basically what my buddy Tim is saying is IBM is fabricated the complementary transistor tiers on separate wafers, bonds the wafers across an ultra thin, ultra thin insulating interface, and places the N-type and P-type devices above one another. So the channels are staggered somewhat like bricks in a wall rather than aligned as two identical towers. So this arrangement basically belongs to the broader family of complementary field effect transistor concepts, or CFETs, CFETs. In which the
capacitor component that holds the electrons for positive, negative, or 0 or 1.
Yeah, in essence. Well, in essence,
I'm sorry.
there's more to it too. Is what is in the article is that the as AI has come into the augmentation of this, there's going to be a power delivery system, power network systems in there, and that are going to be front side signaling wires, and so the power that moves through the utility tunnels and beneath them and the upper streets are left more open for data traffic, which in reward is density and potentially shorter electrical paths. So the price is a city whose floors must be lined, but bonded, inspected, and connected with near atomic precision. So we're at near atomic precision with
Wow.
with this.
Wow, that's bad.
So you guys remember back IBM, right? When you think of IBM, what do you think of?
I've been moved.
The computer, the big luggage
Computers.
computer.
Yeah, the big one there.
Computers.
Oh, the
So
chess.
IBM
So
stood
it's like
for
chess.
stood for International Business Machine, right? How they first started out was meat cleavers and scales.
Really?
Yep. And they evolved from there. Why? Because of the time and the day back then, that was the business model. Meat cleavers and scales.
Yeah.
Wow.
So even with this, the AI acts as an accelerator and fits so much more low precision matrix engines in this in itself, and so the circuits or outperform and have enormous grids of huge multiple, they multiply in ad operations used by neural networks. And so you're using, in essence, so if we take what was just said here, is the two key words is AI acceleration and neural networking. And so, and also the near precision of near atomic precision. So that is kind of the key indicator of how advanced this really is.
Crazy.
This means this is super advanced stuff. I've worked with in Huntsville. I've worked this stuff called a microgel. Which had nanogel or nanobots and stuff in it, and this is even smaller, super smaller, and from what Tim had put out there, and just from what I read that Tim had did his article on, in his investigation on, or not his investigation, but his journalism on to this, is that there's going to be so much new technology that can come for this, and so many more applications that it could be applied to. So I think it's a new generation of transistors and even more than transistors itself.
That's very cool. Now this guy's what you guys are looking at here, and Gigi be working it in. I just literally typed that message into Pilled. She goes, "This reminds me of Micro Toolmaker's Nano Tools," and I literally was typing, "This is Micro Toolmaker's website and business." So he's another Anon guys in our movement, and this is his business, and he makes these tiny tools.
Anon.
Dude, this is crazy.
Wow.
Like I just don't understand like how you can make something so damn small, but yet it be rigid enough or strong enough to move things around. And at that size, are you? I would guess the force required to move things. Like say if you even, are you even using
That's pretty
screws?
damn good.
Yeah, are you even using screws at that level? Like things that you would need to like use a screwdriver to screw into, or
I have no bloody idea.
Right. I mean, these are the things here, but he shows you what it is. It's like, this thing is essentially a human hair tied in a knot shown next to a 25 nanometer end mill. So that's a human hair, and these are how small these tools are. And this is a leg of an ant shown next to a 10 nanometer engraving tool.
Mm-hmm.
That's just wild stuff. I mean, and again,
That's
when we
that's not your father's Dremel tool.
No, that's not your craftsman right there. But I mean, when you're talking about this stuff, it's like so if you were to explode this, it's basically you're talking about having 100 billion transistors on a chip that is. So is the whole chip like 1 nanometer, or is that?
No. The chip is the size you see it, whatever you're seeing on the motherboard. We really need an engineer in here to explain this stuff, but
I should bring Tim on here. Tim would
really
make you guys drool.
I bet. Look at your CPU. Everybody's seen one, whether you remember it or not. You've seen one probably, and everything is contained within that the CPU does, and all I know is different CPUs have different primary functions, and then some are better at math crunching than others, faster. I'm not an engineer in this stuff. I've just done a lot of study with it. So do your research. It's fascinating stuff. It really is.
Oh yeah.
So with how fast this operates at 3.7 petabytes per second of at aggregate memory bandwidth and 30 kilowatts of power.
Wow.
Petabyte is equal to 1,000 terabytes, which is
1,000 terabytes.
And what 1,000? So 1,000 terabytes is
million
a petabyte.
Gigabytes.
Okay, there you go. I was gonna say because a terabyte's 1,000 megabytes, right? Or a terabyte's 1,000 gigabytes. Sorry.
I believe, yeah. And
Yes, it is.
that would make gigabyte. Yeah, Armando, you would know. That would make gigabytes. Petabytes.
Petabyte would be 1,000 terabytes for one.
Yeah.
This is crazy. It says a petabyte.
Now you'll be interested to know, because I'm in the process of acquiring one or sourcing one, and I found one for work purposes. It is the new. It's a 2 terabyte SSD storage device, but it's utilizing USB-C 4.0 instead of 3.2. It doubles the read and write speeds, some of them up to like 6,000 read and write cycles.
Jeez.
That's, you're talking on a 2 terabyte stick. Okay. That is, let's just say, Roadrunner, beep, beep, pew, gone. That,
Pew.
So, yeah. So you guys understand it. So yeah, but they run about $500.
Then aren't there other chips that are gallium based that even can withstand heat more than silicon?
Yeah.
Yes, there are.
I think that's kind of what Mike was talking about that gel stuff. And I seen other ones where they were putting the chip in some sort of fluid that wasn't a gel, but it was more of like a liquid than a gel. But for a
then you have the other one, the acrylics graphics, also, as well as another one that is that's pretty beefy.
I just can't believe they're able to put that much information and those many transistors or whatever on that little chip. It's like, where's the tool that makes that, and how big is that damn tool? Tiny.
It's a 40-ton machine, and the primary company is out of Netherlands.
Yeah,
really?
A town with a population of 45,000.
And it has 1,000 different trade secrets behind it.
Yeah, yes. But the Chinese are at 2008 or 9 levels in back engineering. Yeah, that'll give you an idea. Yeah.
Oh boy. So technology.
That's what Terafab is all about, from what I understand, with Musk. Is this what Mike sent to you is this and memory chips. There's some way they're arranging them that these would be the, let's say, first stage core processors for these for the new data centers. We've had data centers for a long time, and a lot of the negative nonsense that's been put out there, I can say this, but it was Chinese mainly.
Chinese psyop, man.
Dipping into your social media and getting
Freaking
everybody worried
Chinese.
about everything about it when we've had data centers forever.
We've had them forever. What do you think?
More.
What do you think ran our telephone systems when it was in its infancy stages? You think
And
it was just
Google,
like two
blah, blah,
tin
blah.
cans with a string attached to it? No, man. No, we've had data centers forever, right? Nobody complained. Nobody said shit. You know,
Laboratories.
just look at it from our telephone system lines. But welcome
Yeah.
to propaganda, right?
Well, it's funny that you talk about the telephones because with the nanostack here, that's part of what just one segment of what this is going to be augmented into is premium servers and phones.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the same backbone, you know.
Yeah.
And they sell you products. Oh, this app will do this, and you know,
Money, man. It's
files
money. It's
and
the human
da-da-da.
condition.
And
Yeah.
a telephone. It's all the same network.
All the same
Yeah.
shit. Yep.
You know, we went from a distinct analog telecommunication system that was separate from a television and a radio. Now they all go over the same architecture, terrestrial and space.
Microsoft's best marketing commercial way back in the day still rings true today, and it was brilliant. And the phrase was, everything old is new again. And it's true. It's just packaged differently. That's all.
Except for us.
Well, to a certain extent, yeah.
Except for us.
Bill Gates is new again.
I got a funny one for you. Oh, wow, that's weird. That link didn't work. I got a funny one for you. Let me see. Did this not happen? Let me see if this did not happen. That link.
Real quick to peg
Sure.
off of what Tim put his article on. For California, right now, I was offered a gig that I'm looking into. I'm not sure if I'm going to take it or not, but through Cal OES, there's a senior project manager role that was offered to me, and it is to work on the next generation 911 system throughout all of California. And so
Cool, huh?
it's gonna be it's get this new 911 system for public safety answering points and originating service providers. It'll be able to have it will allow collaborative efforts with different departments and leaderships with state control agencies and different vendors to ensure that this new 911 bridge going out through the entire state of California is going to be possibly better than anything that anyone's ever seen before. I just got the skinny on it, so I don't know the full scope on it. But it's something that it's scheduled to be completed by 2030.
If you have an emergency, please dial 666.
in the towns that offer it for you.
Yeah.
I got a funny one for
No,
you
let's
guys.
just do 9/11. Why don't we?
911, baby.
You know, the supposedly real birth date of Christ, the day where all the shitty things seem to happen.
That's coincidentally.
It's less coincidence when it comes to numbers like that than you think.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Now, do I like watching people getting knocked out cold, especially when they are a Democrat person running for Democrat office? So just so people have have a little have a little background on what happened here. This guy, who's apparently Kirill Basin, he's running for Congress, and apparently somebody had some music loud, and he said, "Turn the friggin' music down, or I'm going to shoot you and your girlfriend." And apparently this monster here didn't appreciate his tone, and so it turned into a little bit of a one-sided fight, I guess you could call it.
It's Charles Atlas.
I know, ready? Hey, he was going to hit him with a friggin' thing. Boop. But, dude, like that right there was... Let me unmute it here, because it's funny. I know. It's funny once he starts... talking to the guy at the end. And not for nothing, dude, but I've watched my fair share of, UFC fights. I've seen people get knocked out in real life, but like, you don't knock somebody out and then immediately go, "Hey, wake up, wake up." You usually give them like a few seconds. But
unless you're worried about whether you killed the guy or not.
Yeah, that's the Samoan spirit. Hey, brah, you okay? Mahalo.
Let's watch it in its totality here again. Again, I have to say, the guy running did try to swing a chair at him. And do I get no more sound again here?
Yeah.
Bang.
Wheel. There you go. No beach chair for you.
I did unmute it. I know I did. Here we go. Unmute. And then once he gets back on the ground. And that wasn't even much of a punch. He's a big guy though.
You hear that kid?
Wake up, bro.
Wake up. Yeah. What you fucking about, Holly boy? Yeah?
Howley boy.
Right here.
Howley boy, yes.
What's that Howley boy?
Samoan. A Howley boy is a white dude.
Oh, shit. He got his bell rung. But, the best part of this one, guys, is somebody got arrested at the end of this whole altercation. And it was the guy that got flatlined in the very beginning, because he came out and was saying he was going to shoot people. And then I guess after he got up, well, let's listen to a little bit of this here, I guess. He was a little belligerent for a guy trying to get your vote. Like, I was just trying to sit there and watch.
Him, if he wants to go to the hospital, come here.
Whoa.
You.
Hey. Not my girl.
You.
Not my girl, right? You're not talking about my girl, right?
I don't care.
Don't do that, dude. Don't do
What
that.
are you gonna do?
Go ahead. Just go.
What are you gonna do?
Don, go ahead.
Am I? I didn't fucking put him in the ground. I didn't put him in the ground. I put him in the ground. I can't. All right.
Oh, you're gonna hit women now.
So he basically threatened people he was going to shoot him, and then after had a knife. But then the cops came and he threw the knife in the ocean. And then I don't know if it was the guy that ended up punching him in the beginning, but somebody retrieved.
It was the guy.
It was
the guy. Yeah.
What a hell of a good Samaritan.
Hell no, I'm gonna get this guy again.
Does he have a Nazi? Does he have a Nazi tattoo on his chest?
Yeah, I didn't know what that was exactly. It looks like
right there.
You see, right? Can't really make out exactly. It looks like a infinity thing on top, going sideways like an 8.
That looks like a QR code.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it looks like mom. It says mom or Monday.
Mom. Oh God.
Mom, and then like a link, an infinity
signal.
link, and mom. Yeah. Oh, cute. But yeah, he's just a type to get it, and then. We don't condone violence here, but when people you do this, threaten to shoot the man's wife and several bystanders. Yeah. Oh, I don't care. I didn't put him in the ground. He's like, go ahead. What are you gonna do? Local man seen approaching, confronted him, knocked him out, calmly told him to stop threatening people. He later pulled a knife, continued threatening, threw the knife into the ocean. Some bystanders swam out, recovered, and handed it to the police. He was then charged with 2 counts of first-degree terroristic threatening. Bail set at $1 million. So unless you're putting your house up or $100,000 cash, you ain't getting out of that, buddy. Right? He said he's also been arrested in other assault and property damage cases since May. Like, this guy's running for office.
They need to do a reality TV thing following the prison cameras, because he can't come up with bail. And when he mouths off in prison, then all the guys that bend him over the table. That's better than Naked and Afraid right there.
I think he might like it. This guy.
I want to see what companies he's investing in, and also who he's
But
friends.
this is the best Democrats can come up with as far as endorsing their own.
You want this guy in your Senate, man.
In other
I'm telling
words,
you.
here.
He served the ACLU. Oh, okay.
He's what?
He says he served the ACLU.
Oh, that's a wonderful resume to begin with, right there.
And he went to NYU Law.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my God! It just keeps on giving.
We know.
Yeah.
I mean, we know exactly.
But, if this is not, and this will show as proof that that whole party has been. They left the flesh. It's been to a taxidermist. You still think it looks like, the guy down the street. It ain't. It's empty and filled with supranational, supra-governmental interests that have taken it and turned it into what it is. But MSM sits there and tells you every day, Democrats, Republicans, Republicans. It doesn't matter. You got a lot of them in the Republican Party that are the same. That there's a third beast. That third beast is everybody who's saying bullshit to both of them. And I'm conservative by nature, and I'm not. That's because I'm not a dumbass. And that's what people need to be saying instead of Republican, Democrat. This dog and pony show in its current iteration has run its course. Everybody knows it. They don't even care about it. They don't want to hear about it anymore. And you cannot blame them. And the sad part is that it works its way up and mythology takes its place all the way to, and nobody's perfect in any administration by far, even this one. But this one is doing a job aside and apart from others. Now, we'll see in the fullness of time. We'll see what happens with the midterms, or now to the midterms. We'll see what happens after that. Certain other things need to happen, or a lot of us are losing patience, beginning to. But I'm keeping it within reason to say, okay, all of the postulation that stands up against what's going on now, what stands and what falls? If more falls than stands, we've got a problem.
Absolutely.
Well,
I'll just leave it right there.
I can tell you this, whenever you're ready to click on that link I sent you from Constitution X, because there's an update to that just came across my radar here from Politico. So apparently Politico reveals that the U.S. has increased its intelligence operations in Cuba. The Trump administration has bolstered its intelligence resources in Cuba over the past few months as part of a strategy to ramp up pressure on the regime, according to Politico, which cites two sources familiar with Washington's plans. So according to the information, the United States would have sent more agents and spies to the island and increased the CIA's presence to strengthen intelligence gathering. There's a reason for that. The sources maintain that this deployment could serve as a foundation for future actions, ranging from intensifying political pressure, to preparing for broader scenarios, including a potential military operation, though they emphasize that no decision has been made in that regard. Correct. The report notes that Cuba has become one of the top priorities for Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who considers the regime's responses to Washington's demands insufficient. Okay, so that article that you have up there on screen right now, is that the one?
This is one of the two.
Is that the one about the leak?
This is the leak, yes. Want me to play this?
Yeah, the leak, yeah. So basically, well, I'll let you read it. Go ahead and read it, and then I'll caveat on the back end.
Sure. Constitution X. I just started following this account last week. I've enjoyed some of their stuff. It says there's a wolf.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, wolf among the sheep in the Trump administration. Someone high inside the U.S. government just betrayed America. They leaked a planned military strike on Iran, the largest since World War II, according to President Trump himself. This wasn't some random slip. It was a deliberate, calculated betrayal. The operation was locked down so tightly that even senior Israeli intelligence officials had no idea it existed until a traitor inside our own government ran their mouth to the press over the weekend. 50,000 American troops, destroyers, fighters, refuelers, all sitting in the region. Operational security is the only thing standing between them and the enemy. This leak didn't just sabotage negotiations, it handed Iran a heads up and put American lives directly in the crosshairs, just like we were talking about earlier, guys, blowing covers and stuff, right? Trump had already pulled the strikes after urgent requests from Iran and our Gulf allies. Now the White House is left hunting the rat who sold us out from the inside. A wolf is walking freely among the sheep in the administration. Whoever did this must be found, fired, and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. No mercy, no exceptions. Definitely no more traitors.
It's going to be a 24-year-old kid.
See, the doc, we read each other, right? So let's just go with a youngin', male or female, doesn't matter, right? If you were to do this, okay, I suspect, and again, my opinion is just an opinion, right? Just an opinion, patternized thinking, if you will. Young person, male or female, but not inside the White House, not inside DOD. I'm going to say probably inside Pentagon. I'm just going to go with that because you see what happened. Deal number 5. Yep, it's a 5th opportunity now for IRGC to come to the table to come and meet the demands, right? Open the Straits of Hormuz, give us access to the uranium dust, let's negotiate, blah, 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 blah. You know, and I know that this is not going to go anywhere. They're not going to negotiate with you. Ghost said that earlier. They will not make any deal. Okay, yep. This is death, tip of the spear shit. The only reason why he called it off is because they do need to find that rat. Because if they did it once, they will do it again. And next time, it may not be onus. It may be CONUS, meaning here inside our borders. Okay?
Well, I've heard it said Albert Speer over and over. Albert Speer actually took over a system that was created by someone before him, who I think was executed or died somehow. But he had set everything up that Speer walked into. Speer was a brilliant man, no doubt, made the best of what he had already in place and made it better. So there were two minds there. There's not one single Albert Speer. There's going to be a group or a loose association, or 2 or 3 people directly linked there of that level of intelligence who are going to be calling these kinds of shots. Such as saying, well, as long as they have to politically tell the world they want to make a deal, when in reality, if you do not, in this situation, have total victory, because I've listened to all the opinions, I've been of this opinion since the beginning, if you do not go in and have total victory over IRGC, and I don't think they could have said that publicly. They had to play it the make a deal way. You did ask the Russians, ask the French, ask the Brits how deals went with Hitler. That's all I got to say. That's all I have to say on that.
Now, Doc, I'll go to you on this, all right? If you were a Cuban intelligence agent, right, and you look around your island and you're like, oh my God, everybody's in a panic. We're sucking canal water right now. We have nothing, right? But the threat of the U.S., especially Marco, at the forefront of it, threatening with the whole Cuban intelligence machinery, how they're embedded here in CONUS and stuff like that and around the world, and the damage that they've done, and blah, 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 blah. And you're getting fed this speech, right? What would you do? I know what I would do if I was an agent. I would do whatever I can to trip up Trump, the Department of War, and the continuing issue over in Iran, and lengthen it as much as possible so I can breathe on the island for another day. Would that make sense?
It would. It also makes sense in the past where we knew that Rubio had went on that, we knew before. We just knew. At first we knew. Marco Rubio went on a secret diplomatic trip to China. So it would make sense to quell the person that's in charge of most, to bring in somebody else. I want to stay away from certain vernacular here. But if that's what I would think as a Cuban intelligence officer, or whatever it may be, that's the lengths. I do know that's the lengths they would go to. And that's why his security team is so beefed up. Is that's the route they would go, because they would want somebody else to come in and take over what Marco Rubio is doing, because Marco Rubio is doing a very excellent job at what he's doing. Even about the stuff behind closed doors that many people don't know about. That is actually hindering hindering their capabilities.
Yep. And everybody's spinning it out there like, oh, yeah, because we're out of missiles, we're out of bombs. So he called another, hey, you want to come to the table again? So it gives us a chance to regroup. That's what the public's being fed. But I read it differently.
Yeah,
okay,
it's not that at all. It's not that at all.
No,
I
okay,
think total victory and replacement of the regime going down is the goal. Always has been. But if you said that from the beginning, China would be saying, well, hell, we're going to send truckloads and trainloads of weapons over land, and Russia would dick around with the same.
Like what Armando was saying too with Ghost is we have more munitions than anyone could possibly ever think of.
Yeah.
There is no shortage. It's just no. Sorry, no. I've been to AMC. I've seen. It's just not happening.
Not silly.
No, I'm telling you, it's not. And
I'm more interested in the games with the oil.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Nail on the head, baby. Right there. Nail on the head.
What swinging dicks are playing with oil over this situation with total friggin' lies to everyone.
Yes, and the insider deals, like I mentioned earlier.
Well, and also
while we can. They're pirates. They're fucking pirates.
Also, aside from oil, is all the raw earth
minerals,
minerals and materials that's in Iran, and this has gone on for years between Pakistan and Iran. Deals between both countries of rare earth minerals, and that's right side by side between oil there.
President Trump is saying that they're making too much.
What you just put up there is equivalent to, again, I'll bring up Hitler. Oh, Hitler enjoys watercolors. 280 billion. It's a lot more than that.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, I believe my gut tells me that rat that they're looking for is possibly even inside the Department of War. I'm just saying.
He's probably some high-end leadership general's kid, 24-year-old white kid, got in for an internship job, got full-time.
Nepo baby.
Yeah, has his own political ideology and doesn't like what he's seeing. And so somehow, some way, a deal came towards him and money was presented and opportunity persisted. And this is just like the same examples of the others that have shared classified information with the world and other foreign countries and gotten arrested for it. It's
the human condition. Once again, the human condition, right? When that dollar sign appears in your forehead and you're young, in your early 20s and stuff like that, again, male or female, doesn't matter. Okay, and you're working for the other side because they're dumping millions of dollars, or maybe some other perks, right? In some offshore account and stuff like that. So when you quit or you retire or you get fired or whatever, you're living a good life, right?
Yeah.
But it was done, in my opinion, to stall and lengthen and play long ball with the whole Iranian debacle, because they want to hang on to that island for dear life, and there are others that have an interest in that island holding on for dear
Mhm.
life as long as possible. Others,
Well,
and I'm not going to go any further than that.
Yeah, and Iran, and from an intel standpoint, Iran, and this has all been in the war room for us, and it's a war of attrition for them, and they're going to drag this out as long as they can.
Bingo.
There will be no deal. There's going to be talks of a deal, and mainstream media is going to be like, oh, so, uh, party A said this, party B said this, and that's just going to be the whole thing for this year, next year, and it's just going to go back and forth. And the reality of it is, it's a war of attrition here. And that's what you're fighting against.
Yeah. Otherwise, the deal idea is a red herring for everyone.
I mean, look, guys, at the end of the day, too, what is probably one of the most key pieces of legislation on the table right now? Okay, that would be the Save America Act, right? Save America Act. All right, so I don't know if it's bullshit or not. I have not looked any deeper into it, but I'm seeing reports out there, okay, from somewhat seemingly credible sources stating that, yeah, we didn't get the votes needed to pass this thing in the Senate, so everybody is dismissed. Go home and let's take our summer recess, right?
Mhm.
Okay, but yet, who was the senator from Kentucky? The guy who's hilarious. He goes on Gutfeld every now and then.
Kennedy?
I forget his name. Kennedy. Yes, thank you very much. Right? He's out
He's
there.
from Louisiana.
Yeah, sounding the Louisiana. That's right. Sounding the alarm out there, right? Saying, hey, I will vote yes, right, if we just give the American people what it is that they want, and that's pass the SAVE Act, right? Let's get that done. Let's go ahead and confirm,
Blanche and Clayton.
No. This is another.
What's his name? The DIA guy.
Oh,
right?
Pulte DNI.
I believe so. I believe it's him. Yeah, let's just get him across the wire. No, the AG or whatever he is, the attorney guy.
You got Blanche for Attorney General.
Blanche.
Blanche.
Yeah, Blanche. Todd Blanche. Let's get him across the finish line. Let's get the SAVE Act across the finish line. I'll stay here. I'll vote yes. And we're going to work until the job gets done. You know why? Well, the American people want it. That's who put us here. Let's get it done. Oh my God, the backlash that he freaking got out of that was like insane. Insane. So yeah, they're against it, the freaking rhinos. And take a look at the usual suspects that voted against it. The same freaking rhino pukes. Same ones.
Yeah.
Right? And as far as Iran, they're being coached, I would venture to guess, by certain interests in Europe quietly as well, especially China, Russia, on how to make things difficult domestically here.
Yes.
For midterms.
Yes.
And
absolutely correct.
So far, I can't say how effective it's really been. The idea is to get you to draw a conclusion on that, to say, oh, they have affected it. But I can't, because there's so much going on that none of us know about.
Sway the opinion of the people with propaganda, misinformation, and just classical bullshit. I'm telling you.
Bingo.
That's exactly what they
do. That's it.
Well,
it's another
so
psyop.
People need to step back for a while and take a look at things. Again, let things play out. You can argue all you want online. What's going to happen tomorrow? One of 4 decisions, major decisions. And, none of us have the information to say what it would be effectively. I'm watching economists and others out there that I do respect their opinion, reading them and looking at it and saying, yeah, this is the ultimate game that they're playing. They're trying to do as much damage in every way possible. And if they can do damage to the midterms, Iran is going to do it. And they're being coached well as their own innate intelligence in that country. They're 95 million people. They're not all stupid by any stretch, like any other population. So these guys are hanging on for dear life. They have this bizarre, let's just say 12th Imam philosophy. no one can reason. You can't reason with stupid or crazy. Just can't do it.
Hmm.
And
You're
they're
not.
playing a position between both. So
I've said it over. I've said it over and over again for years. You cannot debate, discuss, or negotiate with communists. You cannot. You won't win. There's only one way
they're
to win against
rabid
communism,
ideologues.
and that is to kill them. Cut the head off the snake. That's how you win. That's how you beat them. You kill them. Period. End of discussion.
Are you far left socialists listening?
That's it. I'm telling you, you got to kill them.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely wouldn't be listening to this.
No, but okay. So here's my question for you, Space. How long before Ceuta, Spain, right, migrates into our country? How long? Regardless whether we have guns or not.
5 years ago.
How long?
5 years ago, we already had most of it. I mean, they manufactured
They're already.
You know what I mean?
They're already here.
Oh yeah.
They're already here. They're just waiting. Look at Dearborn, Michigan, bro. Look at Dearborn, Michigan.
The only thing stopping all of that from being called out, and this is the opposition, domestic and foreign, against this administration and the people of America that, by and large, overwhelmingly support it. It's well over 60%. But this is why they're not firing back on these. And honestly, yes, there has been a rise, and there is every reason to watch these communities in this country. But how much of that is being stoked additionally by MSM, who is not your friend, never was, never will be?
No, they're the biggest part of the problem. And then your NGOs, and then I'm just going to call it the Five Eyes also with their tricks and their tactics. Now, don't get me wrong. I strongly believe that our agency, our intel folks, CIA, NSA, whatever it is, okay, we have good people. We really do. I believe that wholeheartedly. Okay, that we have good people, especially the ones that are boots
and those
the ones that are boots on the ground, especially your field agents, your operators, right? Your analysts and stuff like that. Now, is there a bad apple in all of them? Sure, there are bad apples in my workplace, in my day job.
No different than anywhere else. People
no different than
perfection.
Anywhere else. Exactly.
Out of
right? Law enforcement,
from,
same thing. You have to support these people. We as Americans have to support our intel people. We have to support our law enforcement. They're not all bad. They're more good than there are bad. Okay, because at the end of the day, they need us and we need them. Period. That's the way I see it. But it's the freaking politicians. It's these rhinos that have ulterior motives. Okay, the under-the-table deal makers that are surrounding our president and our administration. Okay, those are the a-holes that are creating all these freaking problems. Because if they were all on the same freaking page, man, we'd be, oh my God, the progress we'd be making right now would be insane. I'll leave it at that.
That DSA chubby chick who's as pretty as a bouquet of grinning assholes that comes on, gets put on MSM. A toad like that would have never been put on MSM 20, 30 years ago. But I'm sorry, but populations have been, in the younger ages, have been so not dumbed down, but let's say de-enlightened, that they look at that and they go, well, yeah, let's defund the Pentagon. Let's defund the police. The fuck, are you batshit insane? What world do you live in?
Well, I'll tell you.
Of course, I'd love to live in a world where all of those things didn't need to be, and everyone treated others as they wanted to be treated themselves, etc. But we don't.
Right, and you can thank our educational
hell of human beings' own making. So the more enlightened, and I want to hear what you have to say, Armando. Among us have to say,
sorry.
Everybody. No, I'm not. Don't worry about that. Put the brakes on with this nonsense. This is nothing more. And the hardest case to make why MSN has been left standing is because the hardest case to make will be against editorial decisions of these networks. and I mean networks in the other sense of the word, of these editorial networks, because you've got to overcome, you know, freedom of speech amendment. That's a difficult thing to bring them to task on. However, if you, let's say, identify certain parties that are not now being identified as such, but as foreign interventionists and sedition, stoking sedition in this country, then you can make that case. And I honestly think that's why someone like Blanche is in that position, because these hard decisions are going to have to be made. And MSM is going to scream more so than the proportion of the public that pays attention to them will. Of course, these blue and green haired idiots will, you know, face tattooed, and I'm just being stupid with my generalization of them. We all know who they are in our lives. If you're unfortunate enough to have one or two in your life that are just, they're at war with themselves. Yet they have to wreak that shit internally on society. And then you have all the way up the apparatus to mainstream media and above that is taking that, watching those irate, discordant, bent voices, and then magnifying them a billionfold. This is war.
I see a comment here in the chat says, and again, it's just an opinion. It says, "Oh, got trust issues with CIA." Okay, yeah, I'm not going to counter that or argue with that, right? I've got trust issues with a lot. You can't argue with that at all, right? Because I'll tell you why, for two reasons. So on what Ghost was speaking on, who do you have to blame for the philosophy of the people that you just mentioned or characterized, right? Our institutional system are the ones that are pumping these types out, period. Ask me how I know.
Because who owns what and who controls what. We get to the reality of it. We need to bring Lord G on one of these and let him.
The institution and the brainwashing apparatus, that's all it is, all right? That's what we're putting out there, is we're putting out exactly what we're getting, all right, period. When it comes to agencies and stuff like that, look, I agree with you, okay? You have trust issues with agencies. Okay, great. Who doesn't? Right? Who doesn't? Think about it, right? Like I said, there are bad apples inside everything today, but there are more good than bad
that are still alive.
Because we know of one certain one, 32 plus years, okay, at very, very, very high levels in the private sector and then in the intel sector, okay, that's have saved countless lives. Am I wrong here, guys?
No. Not at all.
No.
Not at all. Okay, so you can't you can't really broad brush, you know, intel agencies, whoever they may be, in the Five Eyes. There are good people that are doing a good job. Now, I will tell you that.
Everything's a billion shades of gray, and I agree with that. By the way, everything's a billion shades of gray, except if you don't understand fundamentals about that world, those shades of gray become light and dark very quickly. And that's I think that's a natural alert mechanism within humanity as a whole. It's not a bad thing. However, you need to, again, everything that any of us look at and try to discuss with any reasonable understanding as best we can, you know, we've done the homework about or have direct experience with. And this is the opinion you come to.
And let's
out of
not,
common sense.
Sorry, let's not forget another thing too. Okay, the same way that principle applies in the educational system, it applies in the media also as well.
Absolutely.
The media and the educational system are, in my opinion, probably two of the biggest enemies that we have for our republic. Why? Have you ever heard any positive news come out of the mainstream media about CIA, NSA, or anything like that? No. Remember when Edward Snowden was evil, he was a demon, right? And all of a sudden now, oh, he's a hero because of WikiLeaks, right? He's a hero. Oh my God, he's just shed all this light on real truth that is just coming out of the woodwork, right? Oh, but wait, he was the evil guy, wasn't he?
Bill Binney and Kirk Wavy were trying to tell you about that even before Snowden came out. So
Look at
You
Bill
know.
Cooper. Bill Cooper's another perfect example, right? In my opinion, true American patriot. Pale White Horse, read his book, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people hated the guy. They couldn't stand him. Oh, traitor, this and that, blah, enemy of the state, blah, 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 blah. But gee, a lot of the shit that he put in this book, we've already lived, we've already realized, and a lot of it has come true. Right? Sorry.
Amen.
Again, everything is perception, folks, and the educational system and the mainstream media, right? Those idiots over there on the other side, they are only going to push their narrative. That's it. Look at the recent interview with RFK Jr. and this idiot girl from freaking, what was it, CNN or something like that?
Bash, he torched her. Oh.
Bash, he torched her. And he says, I'm not here to debate you. No, then what the hell are you here for?
Yeah.
I would have, mic drop, blink, I would have got up out of the chair and walked. Screw her.
She was reading off a friggin' script too. She's like, well, there's no studies that show. He's like, no, it's never been studied. Like he absolutely torched her at every friggin' turn. But yeah, it was definitely one of the good ones in the last few months for sure. I very much enjoyed
Again,
that
everything's a billion shades of gray.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
And yes, some when you extend powers and give agency, which is a corporeal term, not corporate, it's applied in both worlds, corporate government and others. Agency simply means I give you, say I have an agenda and I'm the one with the purse strings and I hire someone. Well, I'm selling insurance. You're my agent for the agency. You have agency. Now, when people always, there's a difference between agency with something like CIA and being an officer, an operative. Agency is usually you're an asset or you're a willing asset or you contract. You're given then agency. So understanding the fundamentals of how these things are constructed, it's the same as business in many senses. Banking is every bit as, if not more, compartmentalized than the agencies. And there's a reason for that. And it's not usually in the best interest of everyone who is all of us who use banks. It's all of these things that when you're looking at the huge sources of all the problems, and I'll make this brief, and then you combine all of that outside of our borders with what's happening in Iran and what's happened in Venezuela, Ukraine, and in a little island south of us, it's coming up. I have a very strong feeling. You've got to look at everything on every side and gather as much information as you can, then let it digest. Don't react emotionally to it because I promise you, you will. And then let it digest. Come to reasonable conclusions. I don't like saying what I'm about to say, and I'll leave it at this. In the past, sometimes good has to sacrifice to get the greater bite out of evil. And if you don't think that's what this is all about fundamentally, you're on the wrong planet.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Boys and girls, we got about another 10 minutes or so because I have to get up and out of the house early tomorrow. If you boys need to go use the bathroom really quickly, go for that. I got to do a quick Rumble commercial here. And then I wanted to talk about, who was that sent that one a little while ago about the AI thing, about that AI lawsuit in a second. And, it's very interesting how recently we have what looks like a differing of opinions about the direction in which AI is going from even Sam Altman. So Ghost+Mike+Armando, I think Armando's already went, but give me like a minute, guys, and then I'll be right back in here. Bing. All right. Just in case they talk, and then I will mute so they won't hear anything, and we'll be right back with you boys and girls out there. This is allowing Spaceshot to keep the old lights on at the facilities here. So, all right, guys and girls, we hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part most people miss. Crypto was created so you could actually own and control your own money. And after the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you're the one in control. And if you ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you felt that problem too. Now fast forward to today. Everybody's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels complicated. And that's exactly why I use Rumble Wallet. It takes all that complexity and makes it simple. Choose what you want: Bitcoin, dollar-backed stablecoins, or even digital gold backed by real gold. There's no complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your bank, credit card, or debit card and be up and running in minutes. And once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like me directly. So do this now. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and you are in the game. And in just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. Boom. All right, so that part is there done. Let me unmute the boys. And for those of you who are back, we've been talking about moving, AI has been moving in a very fast direction. And then what I had pulled a story out where it looks like Sam Altman is wanting to slow down AI all of a sudden, it seems. So I thought that was a little bit weird here. Let me see, where was the other one here? And we had this
behind the curtain, maybe.
I mean, dude, this lawsuit here is it's gonna, I don't know how you're gonna put it this way, it doesn't look good at all for it doesn't look good. I mean, it says Apple filed for a preliminary injunction against OpenAI and asked for a federal judge to put them under forensic supervision. Apple respectfully moves to court for a preliminary injunction to stop the theft of its trade secrets. Apple filed 9 sworn declarations, a 28-page memo, and a concurrent motion for expedited discovery. What Apple now says under oath: Cheng Lu, 8 years at Apple, now OpenAI member of technical staff, exploited an authentication bug to steal Apple trade secrets, quote, on at least 5 separate occasions from February to April of 26 while working for OpenAI. So we've talked about this before a few different times about the lawsuit, and what they were doing was OpenAI was saying, oh, hey, former Apple employee, come on over and bring something for show and tell. It's like, wait, what do you mean?
Which contractually they're usually barred from doing. I'll just say this: in 2031, we'll reconvene and talk about the movie.
We'll talk about the movie. I mean, dude, the amount of money that's going into all this stuff too, right? And it's just absolutely wild to me that these people are like, it's like the place has gone, it's gone wild with AI fever. It's like reefer madness. It's AI madness. You got all these, you got all these facilities out there going crazy, making, having to make all these electricians and getting poached left and right. You got all these technical staff people getting poached left and right, and it's like people are out of their minds just to like, oh, we need to get these data centers going. We need to get this AI stuff going. It's like, I don't know.
I'll say this very quickly: Ray Dalio is out there talking about his theories with AI. I would tune into that. But I would also, the one thing, when the last interview I saw him in, I was thinking, yeah, but you know what? AI may very well fix that bursting bubble. So he's predicting like the housing bubble in 2008 and the internet bubble in 2000. We've just built another bubble.
Yeah.
And to a great degree, I would agree with that economically. But again, with AGI and ASI on the horizon, is there another solution to it this time as opposed to the last?
Ray Dalio says AI bubble nearing 1929 and 2000 levels, and the lesson people always forget: wealth is not the same as money.
He's written a lot of great books. Wealth is not the same as money. You can have stock and property. Well, property is a real asset. More so stock and bonds. anything like gold, silver, no, that's a hard asset. Land, but many people like Elon Musk became a trillionaire. Well, he's a trillionaire in stock only.
On paper,
He doesn't have
yeah.
$1 trillion in the bank that he can go, go to the ATM and take $1 million out to party today. It's not like that. And wealth has to be kept like hard assets. You keep close. Wealth, you have to. The aspect of the system, the way it exists now economically, is you have to reinvest to keep up the value of your own money. Again, the illusion of fiat currency and the mass delusion that generations have been under with the idea of inflation. Inflation actually should be limited to regional, let's say, crises where price gouging takes effect. But most people aren't thinking in those terms when it comes to the economy. They're only thinking of what they need to know to get by instead of knowing more and saying there's something fundamentally fucked with this system. Why don't we do a 10% commerce tax, corporate and private? And nobody has to worry about income tax, and you got all the money you need. Oh, no. That releases control of power of those who print it, who are lawfully and legally able to say, okay, yeah, you need 10, 11 billion to operate today, federal government, a few keystrokes here, and it's done. And the money has no value other than you and your future endeavors and your progeny's future endeavors to pay the interest on it. Again, your income, I don't want to hear people cry, say, my tax money's going to your tax money isn't going to shit. It's going to pay interest for 20, 25, and 30 years ago on an illusion that's been set before you called national debt. Again, it was created out of thin air. It's made of thin air. Gold and silver, come talk to me. Land, come talk to me. Anything else?
Yeah.
Yep.
Go through the filters first.
That national debt's never getting paid back.
No. It's going to go away. It'll just disappear because it'll be a write-off. It'll be the biggest bankruptcy worldwide in history. All of us, every 209 countries will be going, well, we're in there too. Don't forget to put us on the ledger. And that's how it's going to go. And then it'll be reworking.
My last 3 seconds for tonight. Trump administration puts pressure on the Cuban regime. It says, U.S. to Cuba, quote, you can restore electrical service as early as tomorrow if you decide to step down from power.
Oh, wow. I like it. I like it.
I'm done. That's it.
Well,
I raise my glass to you, Armando.
Perfect timing. 10 o'clock on the nose there, Armando. What are you drinking? What is that?
There you go, brother.
It looks red. Or is that a koozie?
That's a koozie.
Okay. I'm like, what the hell does he drink? Blood?
He mixes whiskey and soda in that can. Oh, I'm sorry. Shit. Oh, we're not off the air yet. Oh,
the drink is a Cuba Libre. Cuba Libre, which is rum and Coke.
Cuba Libre. Let me see. Ooh, this is interesting. Randall S. Crow dropped a $10 super chat on YouTube. It says, I just emailed you. And if I'm going off memory, Mr. Crow has done some music in the past, and he did that, I believe he was a retired fireman who did that fireman book as well. But he dropped a $10 super chat and says, I just emailed y'all the first AI sample of my Patriot American folk opera film. Hope you like it. Shocked me on the quality. Oh, I'll definitely be interested to check that out for sure. Yeah, AI has been making things very interesting. Oh, guys, by the way, as you guys were talking, I had a thing made here, and all credit to my son who just walked in the door here to this, and then I had the AI do the verification for me on it. I said, and I actually left this in the prompt to make the video because I asked AI first, is this accurate? And it came back, it was like, yes, this is accurate. So I actually left this when it made the video. But in 2023, under the Biden administration, price of barrel of oil was $83. National cost of gas, $3.52. Now, $71. We're paying $410. Huh. Something's just not mathing on that one, boys. I don't know what it is, but it's just not mathing to me.
It's called big oil. We talked about it earlier, right?
Yeah.
Insider deals.
Yeah.
Big insider deals.
Big insider deals,
Yeah.
all right? And then the retailers, at the state level, imposing or raising the freaking gasoline tax, right? More profits to be made.
Yeah, look at what Newsom's doing with the refineries in California. I mean, just look into that. You'll see what.
There you go.
We don't have a refinery. I'll say this very quickly. We haven't had a new refinery in how many decades? Because of all the CPA crap. And our refineries were built to process light sweet crude, which is low sulfur content. It's a whole different, let's say, mechanical construct even than what you have in the Middle East. And I've known about this stuff for years, but Glenn Beck was even talking about it the other day. And
the only refinery
we're shipping our crude to be refined in foreign countries, and we're buying gas. We're exchanging that for gas and kerosene and JP 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Hey, Ghost, and the only refinery that we had in Texas, the only one that could process Venezuelan crude, which is the dirty stuff.
Yeah.
Mysteriously caught fire not so long ago, and it's
isn't that amazing?
What a coincidence.
Guys, oil lightning.
Guys, look at this. Look at this poor migrant kid on the beach. Just came into the country, doesn't know where to go.
Yes, he does. He's looking for somebody to stab.
It's such a sad story. Look at this heartbreaking.
He's like, what am I going to do without a knife?
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Look at this heartbreaking story. This is like AOC. Oh, look at.
No, he's going after Nick Shirley now.
What am I going to do with my life? Oh, wait. Hey, yep, we're good, buddy. We got the shot. We got the shot we needed. Pieces
there
of
he goes.
crap.
He's reaching in his pocket for the knife, and Nick Shirley's right there. He's going to chase him down.
Yeah, he's lucky to get out of there alive, apparently, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well,
I'm not laughing about the situation. It's just that it's so bizarre. And
that kid's got cojones of steel.
He's got tungsten nuts.
Nick Shirley rocks, man.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's connected somehow. I'm just going over here to Pilled really quick. Just thanking Patriot Game in all caps dropped a cookie, and then PQuest also dropped a cookie. So I am all caught up over there. I am releasing the scratchings over there, and on Rumble and YouTube, I am all caught up. So then it comes down to the final thoughts. Armando, would you like to go first? I don't know if you got to skedaddle and go to school, but you can go first in either event.
No, that's fine. I'll make it quick. I know you're pressed for time. So yeah, guys in the chat, thank you very much. For your support, love. Truth Table News World this Thursday. We're going to be dropping another. Let's just call it una bomba. All right, I'll leave it there.
Bomba. That's a bomb.
Yeah, we're gonna bomba. Right, we're gonna do that. So more stuff coming 7 to 10 p.m. Truth Table News World here on Rumble. Appreciate the love and the support, and have yourselves a fantastic rest of your week. God bless.
Yes, sir. This is Mr. Armando's channel, boys and girls, and the link is in the description box, and I'm going to drop it in there one time right now again. You guys, if you're on Rumble there, all you got to do in my chat is right-click on it. If you're on a computer, right-click, open a new tab, and you'll still hear me continue to talk. Then you can go over to his channel, give him a follow, and then come back over. Very easy. So there you go. Follow Armando right there, boys and girls. We'll do Mr. Doc Mike, sir. Any final thoughts for the wonderful world patriots out there?
Yeah, thank you to the wonderful world patriots out here and community, the audience, and I appreciate you guys very, very, very much. And with everything up and coming, I look forward to sharing a lot more information, a lot more stuff that I've done and seen around the world that has a lot of bearing and merit that's going on today. And I'm making the next transition in life, looking into retiring. And
I thought you were going to say you're.
I knew it.
Woman. Damn.
I knew it. Oh. I knew it. As soon as you said that, I'm like, Ghost.
Yeah.
I'll stop.
Thank you. So yeah, looking into retiring and transition into a new occupation job, so I can take care of my beautiful wife while she fights through her heart transplant. And so I got a lot of thinking, some side quests going on, maybe going into podcasts, something of the sort, just ideas, floating it out there. And still, I am been talking to the guys here, and really putting it out there, running for Congress within the
Yes.
next election cycle. And that's something I'm putting my foot hard down on. Things need to be changed, and they need to be done the proper way. And just like we all talk on here, we're not just talk. We have the hammer and the tools, and we nail away. And so, thank you.
Amen, brother.
And I want to say thank you for donations towards my wife's fundraiser page on her GoFundMe. We definitely need the help with her heart transplant, and it means the world to us if you can help us with donations, even just sharing the page, and we definitely need all the prayers in the world as my wife fights her heart condition or heart failure every day. And it's really a blessing to have you guys out here, especially being able to talk to you guys about it. It's a big blessing because, it does share that, what does happen and what is happening. It gets out to the world and to the community, and it's a big positive, very large positive effect. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart and my wife's heart, and thank you all, and God bless.
Amen, brother. And dude, yes, absolutely. And I just put it in the chat, guys. We'll have 30 something thousand folks will watch this at the end of the week. So even if you only have $1, don't think $1 wouldn't help, because it definitely all does add up. So big time prayers going out to Mike's wife, Renee. And I did drop the link in the box there. And dude, 100%. You run, I will do my best and get, I know at least a few folks in California, one of them's a podcaster, that will definitely do what we can to get you nominated. So I know I'm only in Little Rhode Island, but we will do what we can to get good people in a state that needs good people for sure. 100%. Mr. Ghost, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, no, absolutely, bro. Thank you for coming on. And you as well, Armando. And Mr. Ghost, thank you as well for coming on. But your final thoughts for the crew.
Well, again, it always goes to Renee first in these days. And back up everything Mike says, and just thank you to just the humanitarian aspect of it all. It's just amazing and a beautiful thing to see. And there's a lot of bad things happening to a lot of good people these days everywhere, and just be mindful of that. And yeah, again, do whatever you can do with her fund. And everybody who is a positive and supportive member in this audience, this family, this group, and others, yeah, you saved a life. You helped. So just backing Mike up and Renee and saying thank you for that. As far as everything else, the world is a fucked oyster, and enjoy it while you can. I'm just kidding. But
Shuck 'em.
Yeah. I'll say this very quick. Someone said Ghost there, AFRL. Yeah, I'm very familiar with Air Force Research Labs, Constellation. I'll let Mike say what can be said on that next time. So leave it at that. Yeah, AFRL does a lot of great work, and a lot of interesting programs and projects go through there. Projects being the key word, not programs, but
Very cool ones.
Yeah, very cool. And it's an amazing thing. And it's good to see things like that come up in the defense world. And to be known for what they're doing is an excellent thing. And But in the bottom, again, thank you everybody again for tolerating me, us. I was in a rare mood today and it went well. Thank you.
Well, thank you, boys, for coming on here. I do enjoy these Tuesdays as well. I will have a nice off day. I got to get out of the house nice and early. They're going to be doing some painting, so me and the boy are taking off and going to parts unknown. So, and I'll be back. I'll be back with the boys for the round table on Thursday, and then for Table of Titans. And don't forget, Mr. Armando show is this Thursday at 7. Did I get that right?
7 p.m.
Perfect.
7 to 10.
Don't forget to catch that one as well, guys. So yes, for Doc Mike, Mr. Armando, and Ghost and myself, thank you to the mods as well. Do greatly appreciate all of your help, sharing out all those links as well. So for the crew and myself, we do appreciate each and every one of you wonderful world patriots out there for tuning in. And until that next one, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Peace.
If you're constantly battling low energy, cravings, weight control, watching your health slip away,
we are. No, wrong one, guys. Wrong one. Here you go. Here's the right one.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion.
You have all the money in the world. You have all the power you need. What's the point? What's the end goal? He said the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society.
Party in the garden, the tower's falling, love in the summertime. Ooh, yeah, yeah. And I'm unified, feeling oh so unified. In the lockdown, in the lockdown.
I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
Every day, it's a gift. That's why we call it the best. We were born on the garden of Earth, but the flowers grow up, little birds chirp. I was in the garden just having a laugh, till I met a monster cross my path. Hey Gartha, do you want some more trilla? I could get you lit up one or two ways. What's it gonna be, man? What's it gonna be, man? Said I felt like the whole world was begging me to rain fire above upon my enemies, till the love washed over me, till I let the love wash over me. Said I forgot the whole world begging me to rain fire above upon my enemies, till the love washed over me, till I let the love wash over me every day. It's a gift, that's why we call it the present. Every day. It's a gift, that's why we call it the present.
Drink these beers. Can we be saved?
Is a gift.